For joining on the okay. Thanks for joining on the second day of the one of the kind event BEAT 2026, which is celebrated every year, coinciding with the bioenzyme month, which coincides with the birthday of Dr. Rosukon, which is tomorrow, 4th of January, and also celebrated as World Bioenzyme Day. So to start and begin, I will call Dr. Ms. Padma Venkat for Shanti Part, and we'll kickstart the event.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavati Tamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much, Padmaji, for such a soulful rendition of Shanti Part. Now, to give you a recap of yesterday, because we had already started and yesterday was just superb. So, just to give you a recap, we had a great lineup of speakers, which were Dr. Chandana and Dr. Arun. Uh, Although we might say that there were so many technical terms we might not understand, but at the end of the day, what they said is bioenzyme works. And that's what our moderator also mentioned in the end, that bioenzyme works. And I would like to mention that they not only told the technical aspects of their experiments on sludge management through bioenzyme, they also gave us the perseverance and persistence to work on our passion. That's what we can learn from them. And along with that, we all saw that they are doing a consistent effort to bring scientific explanation to back the magic of bioenzyme, and which will help all of us, whether we are researchers, whether we are scientists, or whether we are a layman, to understand that there is not only just a saying that bioenzyme works. There are a lot of scientific explanation through years of efforts of these scientists. If you want to understand the research and publications, if you want to access them, they have given their email IDs. If you're not able to note them, you can just contact us. We will also let you know about that, so that we also get to read all those things while we are working on bioenzyme. We also had a very good case study on STP by our own Preeti ma'am. And I would just like to say one sentence that she said, that just 100 milliliter in 20,000 liters of water can work on STP. So this is the magic. Although we are talking about science, but yes, here I must say that there is some magic we must acknowledge that bioenzyme has. To kickstart our event today, we have lineup of wonderful speakers. First of all, we have Shri Pawan Kumar Sharma. Just I would like to understand from the admin team if we have our speakers here in the panel. If Mr. Pawan, Shri Pawan Kumar Sharma is available.
Yeah, good afternoon, Paulji. I'm here.
Sir, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your graceful presence. And I will just introduce you. So Mr. Pawan Sharma is a development practitioner with 10 plus years of experience driving climate resilient agricultural innovations and convergence across government, private sector, and international platforms. Skilled in leveraging data-driven systems to deepen policy insights and support evidence-based decision making. At the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor and NASSCOM Foundation successfully scaled tech-driven solutions that empower rural women entrepreneurs and advance climate resilience and rural prosperity programs. Proven expertise in leading multi-stakeholder convergence and implementing flagship initiatives such as Krishi Sakhis for last mile agri-extensions focused on soil health, integrated nutrient management, natural farming, and digital soil health mission. Contributed to high-resolution soil mapping projects, 1:10K and 1:50K scales that bolster climate-smart technologies and enhance resilience in vulnerable agro-ecological zones. Thank you so much, sir, for such contribution that we take time to read it. So your summaries are also so big that it takes a lot of time to read. So thank you so much for that much contribution to the entire environment. And I would like to give the floor to you and get the insightful discussions from you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to many congratulate the organizer for bringing such an awareness on a large scale, because this is the subject of national interest. Every day, whenever we are making policies, the first thing is comes in mind is the last person, how the last person in line is thinking about the problem, the challenges he is facing, the policy we are making, how it's going to be impact. And if you are thinking in last person, then you are able to understand the whole of the ecosystem. So that is the crux of the today discussion, which I am going to put. The subject which have been given to me is how I can talk about and policy level intervention on bioenzymes, and then sort of creating an opportunities for women entrepreneurs from the ecosystem of bioenzymes, biocatalyst, biofertilizers. So, Parul said, currently I was a person, I was a, you can say that assisted the government of India in drafting natural farming mission. There's a scheme which has been launched last year only. And over there, if you'll go there, if you read the guidelines, we have clearly mentioned about BRC centers. So BRC is nothing is bioresource input center. So in farming and being an agriculture predominantly a economy where more than 60% of workforce of our population are engaged in agriculture activities, we ensure that get we are able to give it a full force push that this BRC center is also open in rural villages and in rural area, and the people, the last mile person also understand how they can leverage the benefits of bioenzymes, biofertilizers, biocatalyst. And the good part of it doesn't require a lot of input. It doesn't require a cost. It doesn't require that you need a lot of resources. You can using your home, ingredients. Then your ecological ability of grassroots, flora and fauna. Then you can use cow dung, cow urine. So couple of items, so that is very easily available. So that is one thing. Second thing is I've been working from last 2 and 3 years on school soil health program, then soil health mapping, then creating an awareness why everything is related to soil. Whatever we are doing it, at the end of the day, it is either going into soil or it is either going into water. These are the two main natural resources which are observing all our toxins, chemicals, even our waste. Uh, Through the rivers, it's ending up into ocean, and if we are just sending or throwing it to the landfills, it is also observing on soil. And soil is everything. Means whatever you are getting in your plate directly depends, like we said that na, that your health depends that what you are eating in morning. Similarly, whatever you have in your plate, it depends where that material, where that crop, the food has been grown, in which land has been grown. So that's the reason that soil is everything. Like we say, the water is everything. Also, the soil is everything. It is a life for us. And just to tell you, when I was login, Parul was telling it that 100 ml of bioenzymes can, create an sort of a, impact on 20,000 liters, right? So it's a huge number. Similarly, if you'll take 1 gram of soil, it has billions of microbes, enzymes. It this one I'll say 1 gram of soil has a complete universe if you test it. So by putting fertilizers, chemicals, we are basically destroying a millions of galaxies and universe. So and it is going to be impact your health. That's why we said that in natural farming, that whatever the good practices we are adopting it, why we are adopting it, so that your health as in planet health can be improved. So now I'll just share my PPT. I'll not take much of time. I have only 15 minutes as Yogini has directed me. So I'll just share my PPT, and I'll be my talk is going to be focused on how our rural women can become entrepreneurs. What are the ecosystem which government of India is having, and because of lack of awareness, our people are not able to leverage that ecosystem. You people are working from last 2 decades, 3 decades on bioenzymes, on other things. So you are much more aware as compared to me. So I'll be more focused on what as an government ecosystem we are doing it, which are women's, working women's, housewives, and rural women can leverage, and they can start their entrepreneurship activity. I really believe that whatever you are thinking, you have a lot of knowledge. Please start converting your knowledge into an entrepreneurship activity. Start from small, but start it. Today we have a lot of financial linkage, we have credit linkage, we have social securities, we have marketing, branding. So I didn't know why we are lacking behind. So I'll just share my some slides. Parulji, please help me. Is my slides visible?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Perfect. So just to brief everyone, we have a one ministry that's called Ministry of Rural Development. Under Ministry of Rural Development, we have a one program that's called National Rural Livelihood Mission. If anyone has a question, I'll just first take all of you through the slides, and at the end of the session, then we'll take a question and answer.
Okay.
So when I talk about NRLM mission, what was the mission and vision? What was the objective when it started? The program was started to remove and to alleviate poverty and to bring in sustainable livelihood. The components is about how we can create an ecosystem that is going to solve our poverty problem on a very large scale, and then creating some proof points, data driven proof points, using those data to create then successful models which can be replicable across the pan India. So that was the thought when we started this National Rural Livelihood Program. So first, I'll just take you through that how this evolution of DNLM has happened. So we'll talk about it is not a new program about DNLM. Government of India, since the independence, we have a large population who is falling under below poverty line. And since 1947, we did a lot of poverty alleviation program, but nothing concrete has happened. Means most of the program failed miserably. None of the program were able to bring a large population who is falling under poverty from the poverty to an upliftment side. So that was the context. And then if also it started in 1980s, 70s, we have different programs. We started from training of rural youth for self-employment, 79. Then we come up with another program that's called Development of Women and Children Rural is 1982. Then Sitara is one of the famous programs, Improve Toolkits for Rural Artisans, because we as in women's, our Mata, our sisters, they were so much of good skill they have at their home that they were so artisans. So we started giving toolkits in 92. Then Ganga Kalyan Yojana, then Millions Well schemes came in. Then 1997, there is a committee formed that's called Hashim Committee, which recommended that making and running 3 and 4 schemes instead of that can be converted into one scheme which has then larger objectives or upliftment of the poor. So that's where came into the picture of SGSY, which is 1999. SGSY is Swarna Jayanti Gram Swaraj Yojana. So the major program over there is to assist poor household, give them some sort of subsidy, and then using that subsidy and bank linkage, they were able to start their livelihood program. In 2009, Radhakrishnan Committee report calls on credit issues under SGSY because this scheme was largely dependent. One more thing, everyone, are you comfortable in English? It will say that I can also speak in bilingual. I can also speak in Hindi if some of them you are not comfortable in English. Anyone, if you have any concern.
But actually, we have a population, mixed population, so most of us are comfortable with English only. You can
Okay,
mix up with a little bit of Hindi if you wish.
sure. Fine. Thanks for. So in 2009, Radhakrishnan Committee report says that this SGSY hasn't one problem that because you are giving a subsidy, most of the people came into the system, get the subsidy, and then out of the system. And another drawback was SGSY is because it's not doesn't differentiate between the women and men. So a lot of men also came into the schemes and they got an advantage, and then after getting money and all these things, they are used to it in their daily work. So they recommended that there's some institutional architecture needs to refine. So first is improved institutional architecture, poor financial services. There were the cases where not the poor family was taking an advantage of these schemes. The affluent families are also getting. Then capital interest subsidy was very high, and do some training and capacity building. So in 2011, National Rural Hybrid Mission was launched, and when 2014 government changed, then it's also renamed from NLM to DNLM, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. So, what was the mission of this National Livelihood Mission? The first is creating a livelihood framework. And if I talk about livelihood framework, start from creating an institutional framework, then giving them in financial and capital services, then converting and helping them in market linkage, also creating sort of a like accepting them the innovation, and then last mile delivery of public services. Now, if I'll say that how we are currently doing it means the major concern was in front of the policymakers that we have run couple of schemes, but none of the scheme has been till 2011 was successful. So they gone through the past, they understand it, what the mistake they have did in the policy, how it has been reflected on the ground, on the grassroots, how the people has taken it, what the impact it has created, and they found that there are a lot of areas, gray areas, where they need to improve. So first of all, they just remove this subsidy part. If you really would like to give them any livelihood opportunities, first of all, you need to make them as an entrepreneur a sort of a mindset where they are just an beggars. They just need to create an hope that hey, they can also be entrepreneur. They can also able to create jobs for others. That's the mindset shift from the poor household, which is has been from last 2 decades, has become a sort of a person that okay, I am going to receive a receiver person only, not the deliver person only. So most of the time they were always receiving these schemes, different scheme, the third scheme, then the fourth scheme. So the mindset has also become they are by default that they are poor. That was a major challenge. So over there, this will come that okay, first we will become a institution. How we can bring all these poor women or poor household in an institutional structure. Institutional structure means like we have sangatans, now we have government of India is also in one institution, then state government is also an institution, then we have cooperatives, these are also institutions. So how we can bring together the community and then we recognize that community institution, then where we come into SHG groups, that how we can form small groups of community. Then how we can, once it has the group has been formed, how we'll ensure that they'll become social include means social inclusion means that irrespective of the caste, gender, ethics, there will be no discrimination within the ecosystem, within the institution. Otherwise, the institution building will fail. if you're not able to ensure that a person which is coming from poor household, from a backward caste and from the upper caste, if they are going to create a difference, then as an institution, they'll not work together. So that's the reason that social inclusion and social development is also one of the major. Then we said, okay, then what next? The third thing is how, as an institution, we give them a common cause. For that, they work together. Like VA, VA has given one common cause to everyone, that we are working for our planet. And bioenzymes is one of the tools which we have chosen. That okay, we are going to work. Similarly, how we are going to give them a sort of a cause. So then we said that everyone needs a livelihood augmentation, a economical tool which is going to uplift them. And then livelihood augmentation, then you said that then what they need, financial inclusion. That whatever schemes currently we have, whatever banking system we have, whatever the debt system we have currently, how the poor household, because they are the last one. If you go in a bank, if you are already doing an entrepreneurship, you have a turnover of 10 crore, 20 crore, you might have got day 100 calls from the companies, get in one loan. And but is it possible that they are also calling to an poor households who doesn't have per day earning is less than 100? No, they will not call because they're not the prospective customer. So the how these people, these poor women, can also leverage this banking ecosystem or the economic ecosystem which is currently existing. So first approach, what paradigm shift we separate. First approach is coverage all poor household. This is the first thing which we have taken it in a time bound manner. That okay, year wise year plan was made as per the 2011 census. 2000 approximately 10 crore women's, 10 crore households were there under the below poverty line. Then social capital and robust community institutions. So creation of formation of neighborhood and not only the neighborhood but also an institution where everyone get connected each other, not only emotionally but through a cause. Then include them in policies, in schemes, social inclusion, social security, then continuous inclusion of capital. So once they have that, ensure that it is not possible that you will pick, okay, you give them in one time subsidy and then you run away. So as because in a life you need different sort of interval, different requirement of capital. While you are in when your child is in school, then you have a different capital requirement, but at the time of marriage very different capital requirement, and at the old age very different capital requirement. So how we are going to ensure that capital requirement is also met? And then promoting multiple livelihood in a rural area where they have 3 and 4 members, giving them only one livelihood option doesn't work. Then we said okay, how we can create a multiple livelihood. So this is I have already covered. Yeah. So how we are working is community institutional structures. We first started from the cluster area or community in a village. Then we have block level units, and we have district level units. District level units comes at a district collector. Then we have state rural units, which is comes usually sit into the capital of the state. Then we have national rural evolution, where the Ministry of Rural Development works. So currently, we have 10 crore members, 10 crore women members under SHGs. We have 91 lakh plus SHGs. 5 lakh we have village organization, and then we have 32,118 cluster level federation. Those who are not understanding, I'll just explain how this structure works in the next slides. So as I tell you, when we thought that this community and institution structure, how it is going to work, the first thing is creation of self-help groups. And self-help groups comes from within the vicinity or neighborhood. In a village, 10 women come together and they find out that they have a common cause, which is saving, financial understanding, livelihood creation. What are the resources they have currently and how they can leverage those resources So that's why self-help groups comes. Once you have formed a self-help group for 10 to 20 member, they'll start saving very small amounts. So 10 rupees. They started from only 10 rupees, and you'll be amazed. Today, there are self-help groups whose turnover is more than 20 crore, 30 crore. They started from 10 rupees. Then the self-help groups, the couple of, let's say, in a village, there is one self-help, another village, there are another self-help groups. So these 4 and 5 self-help groups forms a village organization. Every self-help group will nominate 2%. So let's say another 10 SHGs will recommend 2%. Then you will have 2% from the each SHGs. There will be 20 new members. These 20 members will form village organization who is representing their Gram Panchayat SHG groups. Then another VO groups, these VO groups is going to recommend 2% from the VO for the cluster level federation, which is at the block level. Generally at block level, 3 and 4 CLFs are there. And these are actually representing the communities through aspirationals. So that's how the structure has gone. It is totally driven by the community and the rural women. That's how this institutional building happened. And their past sutra has been given. Regular meeting, regular saving, regular interloaning, timely repayment of loans, up to date books of account. These five sutras has been given them, these women, that they need to work continuously. As I told you, it starts from community. We have community resource person. Then we have human resource placed at block level. Then we have a district level. Then we have state level. And then we people like a national resource persons, NRP. Social inclusion, social development. As I told you initial slides, that we have 4: institutional building, then social inclusion and social development. So social inclusion means inclusion of vulnerable communities, means communities who till today didn't get and right their rights to speak, their rights to leadership, their rights to represent themselves on social security forums. Vulnerability reduction and planning. Vulnerability reduction and planning means that because of natural calamity and other things, the first impact which is happening on inclusion on these vulnerable community, because they are the worst persons who was reflecting all sort of natural calamities. Then access to rights and entitlement and linking with livelihood. Similarly, behavioral change and practice adoption, community-based events, mobilization in village health sanitation and nutrition activities. This is social inclusion, social development. Then I said to about financial inclusion. So have you ever come across any of the schemes till today from Government of India where you have said that, okay, if I'll give you this amount of money, people will convert my money into 20 times? Most of the schemes are on a subsidy or grant. Everyone has become a mindset that, okay, I'll get an money from Government of India, this subsidy, this grants, that's it, and then I'll do it, whatever. Most of them shut down their shops and then they went away. No one knows what has happened. But this is the only ecosystem where whatever Government of India had invested, it has become and returned back to Government of India 20 times. How? We, as soon as you form in one SHGs, we are giving one revolving fund, which is per SHG. Now, earlier it was 15,000, now it's become 30,000 per SHG. Once it is formed, this 30,000 they can distribute among the SHG members for their for whatever the livelihood activities they are doing it or for their need. Then we are also giving community investment fund, CLF, grant to CLF, which is basically we give it to the CLF and then CLF distribute as a loan to the DO and the SHG groups. So we are giving 2.5 lakh per SHG group. Then we are also giving vulnerability reduction fund, which is also we give it as a grant. Means we give it as a grant. We doesn't ask return back to the Government of India, but VO can then give it to the SHG's members, and then they can also run some livelihood activities over there. So it's range from 50,000 per member to 2,050 per SC/ST other vulnerable members. So overall, till today, we have distributed 44,571 crore capitalization support so far. I told you how this works from the first meeting to the second month to the third month. It is mandatory that if you get revolving fund, you have to complete 3 months as an SHG formation. Then once you complete this 6 to 8 months, then our team is going to help you in creating a microcredit plan. So why I'm saying it, you might be thinking that why the Mr. Pawan has digressing from the main core subject. I'll take you through in the last slides. So this is the journey which is I'm currently showing it, and how this bioenzymes forum can help rural women to come in this ecosystem and leverage all these financial training, capacity building, social inclusion component, and help them become a nano entrepreneur. So this microcredit plan then prepared. Then once the microcredit plan they are prepared, that okay, we are going to work on this livelihood aspect. Then we say, okay, now you are eligible for community investment fund. So they will get 2.5 lakh in a community investment fund. Once it has happened, now they have for to initiate some livelihood activities, you need some little bit financial supports. You got it from the government of India to the state rural livelihood mission. Now then we'll also help in the policies we have mandated to the RBI and the banks that for SHGs, they cannot ask that, okay, come with an documents of company registration, then you come up with your civil score, then you come up with an passbook, a PAN card, and all these things. As these SHG groups, by law, by RBI guidelines, they are having sort of a liberty or has given a credit guarantee from the RBI that okay, you are eligible for credit linkage. You cannot deny loans to these SHG groups. It start all this from a small 2 lakh, then 3 lakh, then the 5 lakh, 8 lakh. But at least they can have in some say in bank credit linkage. So they'll get in first bank credit linkage in 6 to 12 months. Then when they complete almost 2 years, then they get second bank loan, and then they can also get the third loan. This amount is varies from as soon as the SHG's groups grow. The SHG's livelihood activities grow. So the banks say that they are not defaulters, they can keep growing. And one thing which I was telling you to everyone, that till today there is no scheme which are able to lift these rural women from the poor household. This is the only schemes where only women have, only these 10 crore women are able to save from their own saving. Means the 10 rupees has become 60,000 crore rupees till today. The community funds which we have given, it's 54 crore rupees we have given. And the best part is the bank credit. Think of it, I told you 20 times. The bank credit is almost 11 lakh crore. It's already crossed. 11 lakh crore rupees is already crossed, where bank has distributed 11 lakh crore to SHG groups. And you will be amazed, how much is NPA. Average NPA in if you'll see it more than, I'm not exactly remember the percentage, which is 3%, 4%. But for SHGs, the average NPA is less than 2%. So that's the itself is showing the success of this program and mission. So I'll just come to the directly to the point, how we can leverage your bioengineering forum, and how you can leverage nearby areas in rural and urban. Ask them, they should form a small groups first of all, and then those groups can go and avail some financial inclusion help. Then you can get it all sort of a licenses, all these things. We also give training, a lot of trainings. After trainings, then you could go for formal registration, and then you can scale up your entrepreneurship activity. So as I said to you, the livelihood recommendation, we started that, okay, you identify 2 and 3 resources, then we'll say, okay, we will give you at least 1 lakh per family, assured annual income. Why is it that Lakpati Didi program which came into picture? We ensured that at least one woman per household minimum earn 10,000 rupees per month. So at least in a year, she'll be able to save 1.2 lakh. So that's how the Lakpati Didi came into picture. And that's to ensure that this income is sustainable. It doesn't mean that okay, this year they earn, or this quarter they earn, or this season they earn. It should be minimum 2 years, minimum 3 years. If the Didi or a woman in rural area able to retain up to the 3 years or 2 years, 1 lakh per year family income or her own income, then we call them Lakpati. So it's not that okay, they are able to one season, then we'll declare them as Lakpati. So we have different schemes under NRLM, which is Mahila Kishan Sasti Yojana, Integrated Farming Cluster, IFC, I told you, where we are promoting a lot of biofertilizers. Under natural farming, we ensure that BRC center should be set up. How the BRC center is going to run up? I'll show you some good pictures of the rural women where the BRC center they are running it. We are giving 1 lakh rupees as a subsidy to start the BRC center. Now they are profitable. They are running the these integrated farming clusters. This natural and organic farming, lot of bioenzymes, biofertilizers have been used. A lot of private companies now came into picture. They have started selling it. God knows what they are selling it. But we request forums like BA that you create more awareness around it. How they can, Ghanjiamara, Jivamara, these are also forms of biofertilizer and bioenzymes. These topics, these tools, you should also take it up and create some, awareness videos, create forums, talk about natural farming, talk about organic farming. So I'll just come to non-farm livelihood strategies. So under non-farm, so we have two components under NLM livelihood mission. One is farm livelihood because most of the are requested or related to the agriculture allied activities. Then we have non-farm livelihood strategies where we have 5 and 6 schemes. So one is this, we started from MED, Micro Entrepreneurship Development Program. So we select one block, we give them a funds, we train over there the women, then we take them to SVP, Startup Village Entrepreneurship Programs. We then another give them another funds. See, these all are bank linkages. They get 2 lakh, 3 lakh on an every steps. Then they got training, they understand the market linkage, they know where to sell, they'll also get connected with the government ecosystem. Then we take to them OSF. This is one cluster, one stop facility. So one stop facility is something like an manufacturing hub where input raw material you are getting, then you convert into the finished product, then you sell it. Then we can also take in an incubation center. So incubation center is where we have set up is like I am Ahmedabad, I am Bangalore, I am Calcutta. We are partnered with them. So those enterprises run by women which have crossed 12 lakh turnover, 12 lakh overall yearly turnover, then they will also incubate it over there. Then they can also go to the cluster federations. So that's how this is the journey is going to be of an entrepreneur, where we have different schemes, and in different schemes they can get every time all sort of a support. Till today we have 72 lakh entrepreneurs. Manufacturing में 12 लाख हैं, trading में 34 lakh हैं, services में 21 lakh हैं. And all these are schemes are supported these 72 lakh entrepreneurs in non-farm livelihood. So artisan cluster, sectoral cluster, startup village entrepreneurship program I told you, MED, micro entrepreneurship development, there is one scheme. So this one-stop facility we have, then incubations we have, then Ajimika Gramin Express Yojana. So this is a very interesting scheme where we give them the SHGs groups vehicles, commercial vehicles for running their day-to-day operational activities. So in a group, if you're an individual, then we give it 6.5. Like for a group, we give 8.5 rupees per vehicle. This is our Saras is an well-known brand has become where rural and tribal and our last mile persons are creating a lot of their creativity, and right now they're selling at ONDC, Jam, Flipkart, Amazon, everywhere, and some of the groups are able to sell in able to export from India. Means instead of earlier we were importing, now we have started exporting. So that's it. I hope I'm able to abide to time. If I've really sorry if I've beyond gone my time. Now
Absolutely
over to
not,
Parul.
sir. Absolutely not. You were quite patient as well as going with the flow, and also we were able to understand as you were very explaining us the everything that we should understand, because the complexity of the ecosystem that has been created by the government for this rural livelihood. So we must understand that, and then that was the effort from your side, and we should acknowledge that effort. Thank you so much, sir, for that. I have many questions, but before that, we have a lot of participants who might be having many questions. So I am opening the floor for questions. So Preeti ma'am has raised her hand. So Preeti ma'am.
Pawan ji, namaskar.
Namaskar.
It was wonderful listening to you because we were looking out for such kind of information. as an academy, how we can reach out to our rural area and what would be the basic steps, how do we take it further, because we have a lot of trainers across India now, and we also have a women group. It's called Wiki Bioenzyme Council. That's a
Wow.
women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Under that we have Bioenzyme Council, and we have women from different parts of our country. So we have this cluster of women, and we are ready to conquer our own cluster, the rural part. So we are definitely looking out for the effort, for the support from government, uh, and we would like to get into whether it is a Lakpati Didi Yojana or any of self-help group, and you also have this. Last and marketing thing is also there. So I think it's very useful for women. And as our Dr. Ashokon says, every square meter of earth needs 2 liter of bioenzyme. So, and this is possible only when we empower our rural people, because this has to go to
Right.
whether it is a farm or to the river or to, how the entire ecosystem works. So, we are working with a lot of farmers, and we are working with giving them enzymes, and for the farming and all that is definitely going on. But we would definitely like to have these kind of skill development programs in our different parts. I mean, we are ready to conquer the entire India. We are that big group now, and our women are very amazing. They and
Yes,
we
yes, yes.
work selflessly. So, nobody has any kind of, we are just working for earth and soil and air and water. Now, our focus is only that, and we are all there. So, we would definitely like to.
You are true warriors who are at least bringing change on ground. The true warriors are you are.
Yeah, so we would definitely like to take this further and see how we, bring it to the grassroots level. So if someone can help us, which office, where, what, so we can, any kind of formality we need to give, we are ready. Our academy is definitely ready with all the documents to take it further. And thank
Sure,
you
sure,
so
sure. We'll
much.
take it ahead.
Yeah.
Uh, so we'll have another round of discussion, one to one,
Mm-hmm.
and then you let me know where you are working. I'll connect you to the SRLM state level. You present
Mm-hmm.
over there what the current work you are doing it, and I really believe that current work you are doing it bring some women, give them a hope that yes, they can also become an entrepreneur. And the rural areas, lot of now government of India is focusing on creating good clusters on natural farming. And natural farming, we have clearly mandated in our guidelines, and that bioenzymes, the biofertilizer should be used to grow the crops. So that's there, PTG, and wish you all the best for the doing such an bringing all good forces at a single places that they are thinking about. I can see a lot of people are even having their weekend, they're spending time over here. That's
Yes,
an
and
really
we
really
have
applause to your
partners.
team.
Thank you so much. And we have partners in different parts of the different countries as well. And believe me,
Wow.
95% of them are women. And this is women
Wow.
driven, definitely with a good support from men around us. And it is we are ready to bioenzyme the entire country.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Do
you.
we have any other question from anyone? So I was also so Preeti ma'am spoke. I think she took away all my questions, but still, I just want to reiterate the fact that ma'am was speaking. Also, there's one thing that Mahila Kisan Sashaktikiran Pariyojana that you have. So, if someone wish to be a part of it, I think that the government must be having some link or something to register if somebody wants some women to be a part of it. So all those things we will need you whenever you will be meeting her or meeting the team one to one then. And the second part that ma'am was saying, I also wish to reiterate why. Because as I saw the ecosystem which you have created, the complicated ecosystem, and you told in a very simplified manner that how you are helping the rural women to become entrepreneur. Our group, BEA and Vicky, both have aspiring entrepreneurs, and so it would be a win-win situation if we become an entrepreneur and helping those people with their capacity building, and those people learning from us. And also, as you mentioned the number 10 crore women, I just remember that everyone will be having a household. Every household can can have bioenzyme bottle in their house instead of the
Yes.
cleaners that they have. So how we can reach all those places, that we can collaborate later with Preeti ma'am at the forefront.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Thank you
You are
so much.
you are most welcome. And all the listeners, I'll request if you have, for you're going to rural, there is a cluster level federation in each block, CLF. You can go over there. You can say that we would like to register our SHGs and we would like to work on biome. That's it. You can even name it your SHG, first SHGs, bioenzymes, whatever you are doing with. Then after 3 months, 6 months, they'll understand how the SHG works. They'll handle until the journey of they'll become self-independent entrepreneurs. So we started from as a group. So group, let's say 10 women came into it together. All 10 are not entrepreneurs. They work as a group activity. In down the line, 3 and 4 years, everyone will become their self-sustainable entrepreneur. Someone is running more than 10 lakhs, someone is earning more than 20 lakh. Think of a woman who are saving kitties only 10 rupees and then coming into a turnover of 20 crore rupees. And they are equal directors, owners. They are not working for someone. So this is the only schemes where women has proved that if you trust on us, we are going to change the whole economy of India, and it has become so successful scheme for government of India.
Thank you so much, sir, for your passion, for your work, and for your time today. So we'll move forward to our next speaker, Radhika Mure, if admin can tell me if she is available.
She is. I'll just connect.
Okay, Radhika ma'am is over there. Okay, I can see you, ma'am. Your glowing face is all over the screen. Okay, so I think we'll have to stop the screen share of this one. So requesting Pawan sir to okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So Radhika ma'am, so I would just like to introduce you before you start your insightful discussion. So Radhika Mure holds an MSc in Water Science, Policy and Management from the University of Oxford, UK. Her research career began at Kalpavriksha, Pune, where she worked on the international academic activist program Acknowledge. She served as a senior researcher at Gomukh Trust Pune, contributing to multiple water-related studies and co-authoring the book The Heads and Tails of Ganga, Cryosphere and Delta, published by Intact Delhi. At the Center for Water Research, IISER Pune, she worked on projects including water audit with urban environs for sustainable water governance, case study IISER Pune, and a hydrosocial study of Nayak Bit, an urbanizing river island in Pune. Radhika ma'am is currently based at the Center for Sustainability, Environment and Climate Change, Flame University, where she continues to explore her research interest in water science, governance, and climate change. Thank you so much for your time, Radhika ma'am. So we are all set to listen to you and have an insightful discussion. The floor is all yours now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Preeti ma'am, for having me here and allowing me some space and time to share some of my learnings. So today, as the topic of the current session is flowing rivers, I'll be sharing some insights and learnings from the project, the book, The Heads and Tails of Ganga. So I'll just try to share the screen. Is this visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Yeah, okay. For some... Okay, so the current today's presentation is based on some of the key learnings from the book called Heads and Tails of Ganga, and I'll get to what we call the heads and why are we speaking about the tails of Ganga as we go through the presentation. So, as we all know, Ganga River. This is the Ganga River basin map within India, where we see that Ganga originates in Uttarakhand near Gomukh, flows through different states in India, and then joins the Bay of Bengal near Kolkata. Now, this is the current understanding of Ganga River basin that we have as an Indian citizen of Ganga within the Indian borders. Now, as researchers, we tried to understand where the origin of Ganga, where how is the current hydrological system or the hydrological stem of Ganga, how was it formed? To find an answer to this question, we had to go back into history. Around 5,000 years ago, Yamuna River was in fact a part of the Indus River basin. So Yamuna River used to flow towards the west and join Arabian Sea. But due to some tectonic shifts and movement, Yamuna River changed her course and started moving towards the east, and that is when Yamuna River joined Ganga at Allahabad, today known as Prayagraj. This major tectonic shift and river avulsion, change in the course of the river, is what gives us the right bank tributaries of Ganga, which is Chambal, Sindh, Betwa, Kem, Son. So this entire region therefore becomes part of the Ganga River basin. Now we come to the left hand tributaries of the river. As you can see over here, there's Ram Ganga, Gomti, Ghagra, Kosi. If you look closely at this map, you'll see that these rivers, we do not know the origin of these rivers from this map because these rivers are actually flowing through the Nepal, the country of Nepal, and some parts of Tibet. In fact, the entire country of Nepal is within Ganga River basin. So it becomes a very interesting question when we say Ganga is the national river of India. Ganga also becomes the national river of Nepal because the entire country is in Ganga River basin, right? So all these rivers, Mahakali, Gandaki, Saptakoshi, Karnali, they're all flowing, originating in Himalayas, in Nepal, some parts of Tibet, and then coming and joining Ganga within the Indian plains. And that gives us the left bank tributaries of Ganga. So, therefore, when we speak of the heads of Ganga, the origin of Ganga, now one important point which we need to consider is these rivers flowing through Nepal are actually contributing to approximately 42% of water in Ganga today. So, if these rivers flowing through Nepal stop flowing into the present Ganga, there will be approximately 42% reduction in volume in Ganga. So, therefore, these tributaries are of great significance. Therefore, in our study, we propose that when we speak of the heads of Ganga, we do not just consider Gangotri Glacier, but we consider Yamunotri, from where we have Yamuna originating, Gangotri, and then the entire country of Nepal up to the Kanchenjunga ridgeline, which is between Nepal and Sikkim border. So this entire region therefore becomes the headwaters of Ganga because this region is providing water to the Ganga and making Ganga river aviral. Now, this headwaters is situated in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. This patch over here, if you see, this is the headwaters that we are currently talking about. These headwaters, this region is also the Hindu Kush Himalayan region is also known as the third pole. So after North Pole and South Pole, this is the area which holds the largest freshwater storage kept in form of glaciers and ice and snow. This third pole therefore becomes the cryosphere. Cryosphere is cryo is cold. So how we have hydrosphere, biosphere, lithosphere, this is cryosphere. The components of cryosphere are glaciers, glacial lakes, permafrost, snow. So all these components become part of the headwaters of Ganga. In entire Hindu Kush Himalayan region, there are approximately 54,000 glaciers, out of which within Ganga River Basin, there are 6,237 glaciers. So we are talking about a huge chunk of ice and snow mass which is feeding into Ganga River Basin. Now, this is an image of Gangotri Glacier as an example. In normal parlance, when people speak about glaciers, people think about plain white surface. However, if you zoom out and you see that the Gangotri Glacier, this is the main stem of Gangotri Glacier. This Gangotri Glacier is fed by many small glaciers. Raktavarna, Chaturangi, Swachhanda, Sumeru, Kirkirti, Meru. All these small glaciers are the tributaries of the main glacier Gangotri. And these glaciers, if you look at this image, it feels like they are moving. They're flowing very similar to the rivers because in fact glaciers also move. They flow due to continuous heating and melting and then snowing period. They also have a movement to them. And at this point, Gomukh, if you see, this is where the glacier has a small, like a spring like structure. So all the water which is melting from these glaciers flow through these glaciers and get released to us in form of Gomukh over here. And this is the Gomukh which we all speak about as origin of the river. But in fact, there is this entire complex dynamics of glaciers which is making the river flow through Gomukh. Now we spoke a bit about glaciers. Now coming to glacial lakes. This is just a table to identify the number of glacial lakes that are present in Ganga River Basin as of now, today. So what happens is when the glaciers are flowing, they melt. And sometimes the water is not able to flow into a river stream. This water gets captured and these become glacial lakes. The glacial lakes are also a very important part of Ganga River Basin because they are an extremely important biological hotspot. So, considering this aspect of the cryosphere, this entire Hindu Kush region, the cryosphere in this region becomes a significant contributor to the hydrological budget of Ganga. So, as I mentioned, it's the largest storehouse of fresh water in Asia. This cryosphere, in form of snowmelt and ice melt, adds to the rivers. In Ganga, it's about approximately 9 to 10%. In Brahmaputra, it's 19 to 20. And in Indus, it is almost 50% of water coming from this glacial melt and ice melt. So therefore, what this cryosphere flow is doing is that it is regulating the annual flow. So when during summers there is no rain or rainfall or snowfall, the glacial melt and the snow melt contributes to the river's flow during the summer season. So therefore becomes very crucial for the annual flows and also therefore very important for maintaining the minimum environmental flows during the summer seasons. This small margin, as you see, 9 to 10%, becomes very important for the resilience of agricultural communities, pastoral communities, and other rural communities who are living in the Ganga River Basin in the headwaters. Now, why we also need to speak about cryosphere is because, and this suits with today's topic of enzyme, but we are talking about bioenzymes, right? So this is a question which we are asked very often. Why is Ganga really purifying herself? Is Ganga's water really self-purifying? The answer to this is yes and no. And we'll get to that in a bit after understanding what is this complex image. So this is an organism called bacteriophages, which is basically means bacteria eaters. Now these bacteria eaters are found in the cryosphere and they come into the Ganga river system through these headwaters. What they basically do is they are able to eat off the bacteria which is present in the river. And that is why people commonly say that गंगा के पानी में ब्रह्म द्रव्य है. वो ब्रह्म द्रव्य क्या है? तो ये माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म है. Now, is Ganga's water self-purifying? Yes. But can Ganga purify herself? Two different questions, because these bacteria phases only eat bacteria. They are not able to deal with the chemical pollutants and the fertilizers and the pesticides that enter into Ganga's water due to our industries and other anthropogenic activities. So cryosphere also therefore becomes very important, because this main source of self-purifying quality of Ganga's water comes from this cryosphere. Now, why we also have to look at these headwaters is because the Himalayas are warming at a faster rate than the rest of Indian landmass. Therefore, the impact of climate change is going to be that much more severe in the Himalayas, which will have an impact on the river's main Ganga river basin. So, this is just an image to show how different glaciers, the Gangotri Glacier, Chaturangi, Raktavarna Meru, how all these glaciers have been receding over the years due to climate change, due to warming sessions. So what is the climate change impact if really the cryosphere is getting affected? They have this region therefore has an impact on Ganga River basin, which is flowing in India. So now I'm coming to the point of why do we really even need to consider the cryosphere, which is in Nepal or in Tibet? The reason is because if the cryosphere starts getting affected, it is going to affect our main stem of Ganga River basin. As I mentioned, glacial melt becomes a very important buffer margin. So if the melting seasons and the melting periods keep changing, this buffer margin is going to be impacted. With changing temperatures and increasing glacial melt, there could be excessive flooding for a few years. And once the glaciers recede and the mass of glaciers and the permafrost starts getting over, we might see droughts. So there will be this extreme impact felt. Then there is this important aspect which is not studied about, is permafrost thawing. So permafrost, so we have snow, which is and daily or monthly ice which get accumulated, which gets transformed into glaciers over a period of time. And then we have permafrost. Permafrost is basically permanent frost. So layers of ice gets settled over the centuries or decades, and it becomes hard as a rock. So so melting permafrost is very difficult because it has a very different quality. But now with climate change we are seeing that the permafrost has also started melting. With that, the debris, the sediments, the sand, and different organisms which have frozen into this permafrost are also have also started to get released, which we do not have an idea of what do not have an idea, because we have not studied this permafrost. So we don't know how this is going to impact our river systems and how this will impact all our projects, the hydropower projects, different projects that we have on the river system. All the debris, the sediments which will flow through this will have an impact on the different projects that we have. So, and then there is also a study which speaking about how permafrost soils are rich in mercury. So if permafrost starts melting, we might see a increase in mercury level in the tributaries of Ganga. And apart from all of this, we are going to lose huge stock of water that has been frozen in these Himalayas and stored in these Himalayas. Therefore, looking at the heads of Ganga, if we have when we have to deal with Ganga river basin within India, we have to consider these heads. Now, coming to the tails. So, now we have a brief understanding of what we mean by heads. Now, why do we need to consider the tails of Ganga? So, for this, again, we had to go back to the history. This is a very interesting map by cartographer James Rennell from 1786. If you see very carefully, you will see Ganga River and Brahmaputra River flowing as two different rivers into Bay of Bengal. Now, if this was a live audience, I would have asked you how do they flow today. But now, because we are on screen, today Ganga and Brahmaputra meet and then together flow into Bay of Bengal. But in this period, we see Ganga and Brahmaputra flowing as two different rivers. So that made us curious about what happened. What happened to Ganga and Brahmaputra? The answer to it was the twist in the tails. So, Ganga River avulsion. So, in hydrology, terms, when a river changes her course, it's called river avulsion. So we see massive Ganga river avulsion in the tails. So if you look at this map over here, you will see this is the old stem of Ganga, which used to flow through Kolkata, through Gangasagar Island, near Hooghly, right? Slowly, slowly, if you see, Ganga started shifting towards east. You see the years over here in the graph. Yeah. So there is a shift. Again, this is an image where you see this is the old channel of Ganga, and slowly, slowly, you're seeing Ganga's main stem shifting towards the east. So this shift towards the east is where Ganga is now flowing into Bangladesh, where Ganga is known as Padma. This shift has happened over decades, right? So earlier we have Hooghly River flowing through Kolkata, and then Ganga flowing through different channels, now Padma. In this map, you'll see more clearly. We have early Ganga, early Ganges, then you have G1, G2, G3, and then we have GB1, which is Ganga Brahmaputra 1. So now we understand Ganga river is shifting towards east, started shifting towards east. Then how did Brahmaputra come into picture? So the answer to that goes to Teesta River avulsion. So if you see in 1767 map, Teesta River was actually flowing and joining Ganga. But if you see the map in 1991, Teesta River shifted her course, Brahmaputra River shifted his course, and they both joined and then joined Ganga. So over here, Brahmaputra, Ganga were flowing as two different rivers, and over here we see they have come together. The reason for that is a major earthquake in 1762 and mega floods in 1787, because of which the river changed the course, and we have today's Ganga Brahmaputra Meghna River basin. So, and the another important aspect of the tails which we have to consider is the river formations in the tails are constantly evolving, because the geology of the area is rich with alluvial sand, which shifts easily. It's not a rocky structure, right? So it does not have a fixed path. So the rivers keep changing their flows, new rivers keep forming, old rivers get lost, new land submerges, new land emerges. So that is the entire dynamics of delta, which is the tails of Ganga. And therefore there are multiple forces. As we saw in the cryosphere, there is glacial melt, snow melt, climate change, different factors which are affecting the cryosphere. In the delta, we have subsidence due to tectonic movement, the Indian plate going into the Eurasian plate at this region. We have sedimentation, because all the sediment which is carried through the Himalayas gets finally deposited in this delta, accompanied by tidal movement of the Bay of Bengal, and now sea level rise. So all these four factors are constantly affecting the tails of Ganga. So, and this is also the region where we have the Sundarbans. So approximately 60% of Sundarbans are in Bangladesh and 40% are in India. Now, Sundarbans are called Sundarbans because of the mangrove species over there, which is named as Sundari, and therefore we have Sundarbans, right? So now this avulsion, which we are seeing, changes in the river structure, flow of the river. We could say it was historical. Today, Ganga River is now the flow of the river is done. Like now we have something. It's not evolving, but that is not true, because if you look at Kosi River, the Kosi River has become very infamous because of the annual floods. Every year we have news speaking about Assam and Bihar getting flooded, and everyone is blaming Kosi River. So, what happens is Kosi River is basically Saptakoshi. So, seven rivers join in Nepal and flow through the Himalayas and enter into the Indian plains. When the rivers are flowing through the Himalayas, they are flowing. Okay, here is a map. So, when they're flowing through the Himalayas, they're flowing at very huge velocity. And because they're flowing at very high velocity, they also have very high sediment carrying capacity. The moment the river reaches Indian plains, the river loses the velocity and therefore also loses the sediment carrying capacity. So the river starts depositing the silt in the river channel, and therefore leads to flooding. So every year when the river is flowing, she starts depositing sediments, and the river bed keeps rising, and so it leads to flooding. So we decided that we'll fix a channel. We'll decide a path for the river so that the river doesn't flood or doesn't move. Interestingly, in 2008, there was major Kosi flood, devastating. What happened was Kosi River, instead of coming to the plains, shifted her course in the Himalayas itself. And by the time the river reached the Indian plains, the river had changed her channel by approximately 120 kilometers. So that has been the nature of Kosi River, where river avulsions changing in the river flow structure has been the nature of this river system, right? So therefore, I'll just like to show a small time lapse. Uh, okay. Is the video visible?
It's just an image, ma'am. Like, there's
Okay.
no video.
Okay, I think I'll have to stop share and then share. Yes. Okay. Uh, okay. I'm not able to share. Are you still seeing just the image?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so basically it's a video. I'll send the clipping later, which is showing how the river structure is constantly changing, meandering river, right? So now that we have understood briefly, very quickly, what are the heads and tails of Ganga, now when we speak about Ganga River Basin, we realize that we need to include Brahmaputra and Meghna River when we are talking about Ganga River. We also need to speak about Yamuna River when we are speaking about Ganga River Basin. Therefore, if we want to manage Ganga, if we want to have any plans or projects on Ganga River Basin, we have to consider this entire picture, which is the complete picture of Ganga River Basin, which will be important for the management purpose of the river, to make sure that the river is flowing, to make sure that the river is aviral and nirmal throughout. So these are just some statistics to show how the Ganga River Basin therefore is not just an Indian river basin, but includes Nepal, Bangladesh, and even parts of Tibet. This also leads us into a very interesting argument about the differences in the length of the river. So, if we consider the mouth of Ganga River at Kolkata, Ganga Sagar Island, the length of the river is 2525 kilometer. But now, if we consider the length of Ganga River flowing through Bangladesh, meeting Brahmaputra, and then joining Bay of Bengal at Bhola Sagar Island, the length of the river becomes 2161 kilometer. And then if with changing definition of length of river, we have other lengths. If we consider the highest point in the river basin to the tip, then the lengths of the river will keep changing, right? So in our study, as we considered that we are going to consider the mouth of Ganga in Bangladesh at Bhola Sagar Island, which currently is the mouth of Ganga, through GIS and help with some researchers. For our study, we consider the mouth of Ganga River at Bhola Island in Bangladesh, and therefore the length of the river is 2616 kilometer. So just to highlight how understanding the geology and hydrology of the river basin also ends up in changing the technicalities and the way we define the river, and therefore how we are going to understand and plan and manage the river as well. So this is a line diagram based on our study of, if we want to talk about Ganga River Basin, we have to talk about all these rivers, which include Brahmaputra and as well as Meghna. Now, one question which we did not speak about, I'll just go back to it because it is very important, is people ask, so if Ganga shifted towards the east and today is flowing in Bangladesh, then why do we still have Bhagirathi Hooghly in Kolkata? And the reason why we still have Hooghly River in Kolkata is because we built a artificial feeder canal from Farakka Barrage at Murshidabad before the Bangladesh border, from where water is being fed into the Hooghly River to make sure that the river is still flowing. And this was done to make sure that the port, the Diamond Harbour port, which was a very important trade uh, trading center did not silt, and the ships could come in. So it was a colonial British plus Indian post independence period project, which made sure that the Hooghly River in Kolkata still stays alive. Yeah. So that was just something that I wanted to mention. So yes, so now after having understood the hydrology of the river, the structure of the river, we now go into the biodiversity. Now, why the heads and the tails are also very important, because they have very unique species, very rare unique species. For example, this tree is called Bhojapatra tree, and it's called Bhojapatra because the bark of the tree was used to write scriptures on. And today we see that the tourists are going there and cutting down these barks to keep souvenirs for themselves, and the trees are dying. But these unique trees are found only in these unique ecosystems. And similarly, in the tails, we have the Royal Bengal tiger, we have the Susu dolphins. Now, the Susu gangetic dolphins are very interesting because they are slightly partially blind, because they have adapted to the rich sediment level and the high level of turbidity in the waters in that region, and therefore they have high sensory auditory capacity. That is how they communicate. The way they communicate or see or understand their environment is not through their eyes but through sound waves. And therefore, now when we are speaking about increasing infrastructure in the rivers, how will those affect these species is something that needs to be considered. And as the biodiversity is different, the human settlements also are very different in the heads and tails. In the heads, we have the migrating tribes, and in the delta region, we have settlements which began from around colonial period, because the colonial Britishers started um, colonizing the land around Kolkata and Sundarbans for indigo cultivation. And from there, we see large, extensive farms, paddy fields in the delta region. Then the livelihoods in these regions are also very different, right? So in the heads, we have pastoral communities who move according to the shifts in the glacial and the snow and the ice melt. And in the tails, we have the boat people who have made their homes in the boats to adapt to the changing river systems. So, coming to the point, and I will finish over here by saying that if we really want to understand our rivers, if we really want to speak about flowing rivers, we have to consider all these aspects. And which also includes that we probably need to go beyond borders. We need to understand how rivers do not follow political borders, but they're much beyond that. And so understanding them becomes the first important task, to then manage them and control pollution and extraction from them. So, yeah, that was the presentation for today. Thank you so much. I'll stop the share.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Not only for the presentation, but for the passion that you have put into the subject. And we could see the passion in each slide that you were speaking, like how this happened, how that happened, and how this should be. So that kind of passion that you have put into the subject, and we could see the research and the all the analysis that you have done. So thank you so much for all of that. I come from a region which is nearby Ganga, and for the insight that you have given into the Brahmadravya. So we have always heard from our grandmothers that Ganga can clean itself, so you can do anything with Ganga. So that myth that has been created in our minds. So thank you for busting that myth. Because all the toxins that is going into the Ganga, just by thinking that it will cleanse itself, is not going to happen. So thank you for that. And I think that people might be having a lot of questions. So let's open the floor for questions. Swati ma'am, yes.
मतलब क्वेश्चन नहीं, लेकिन हाँ, ज्योग्राफी मेरा फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट है। तो मेरे को इतने टाइम बाद ना ये सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा। मतलब मेरे को लगा कि जब मैं बच्चों को पढ़ाती थी ना, तो वो सारा रिवीजन और इतनी सारी और नॉलेज मिली। मतलब तुमने जितना डिटेल में समझाया ना, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। मतलब बहुत कुछ सीखने को और बहुत कुछ नया पता चला कि जो भी तुमने सारी चीजें बताई, बहुत बढ़िया था।
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Anyone else having any question, acknowledgement? Preeti ma'am, yes. You're on mute, ma'am. Preeti, ma'am.
Thank you, Radhika. And it has definitely given me a lot of wider outlook of Ganga. You know, being a selfish Indian, I always thought we have, Gomukh and we have Ganga Sagar, but then it has definitely given a wider picture and it's beautiful. And yeah, one thing I understood that river has its own mind. You know, it takes its flow, it takes its way to just flow that aviral what we talk, and it's just beautiful. We just have to manage our wastewater, and I think this can be taken care. River will take care of herself, and that is what we are trying to do with our enzymes. So yeah, we had yesterday session on sewage water treatment, how we can work around the river not to let these dirty water get into it, whether it is from the industry or from the domestic area or from the agricultural land. So that is definitely doable, provided we have willing to do that, right? So this is beautiful. I really loved it when I just got this thing, river has its brain. We just have to let it flow and it will. Thank you so much for this beautiful talk.
If we do not have any further questions, then we can go ahead with our next speaker. So if Dr. Karthik is available, if someone can confirm from the admin.
Namaskar, I'm here.
Okay, sir. I can see you. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Karthik, I'll just introduce you in as you have done a lot of work like all other speakers. So, I will take at least 1 to 2 minutes to speak about you, and then we can start with your presentation. So, Dr. Karthik Sapre is the Chief Executive of Narmada Samagra, leading holistic river conservation and community-driven environmental initiatives. He has extensive experience across environmental governance, public policy, research, and corporate sectors. Dr. Sapre earlier served as legislative assistant to late Shri Anil Madhav Dave and later as assistant private secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. He has represented India at the UNFCCC COP meetings in 2016, 2017 and 18. Currently, he serves on several national and state level expert committees related to river management and development. He holds degrees in mechanical engineering, operations management, and a PhD from IIT Delhi. Thank you so much, Karthik Sapre sir, for giving us your valuable time. The floor is all yours, and we are ready to listen to you.
Thank you so much, Preeti ji and Yogini ji, for having me here. It is a great pleasure. मैं चाहूँगा कि वो एक वीडियो मैंने शेयर किया था, if it is possible to share. So first, let's start with what we have done, and then we can discuss it further.
Sure, sure. Can I request the admin team to play the video? Litika ma'am.
स्थापना से अब तक नर्मदा समग्र के प्रयासों एवं कार्यों के प्रभावों और परिणामों पर नजर डालें तो प्रमुख रूप से देश में नदियों का संरक्षण व संवर्धन आम लोगों का विषय बना। नर्मदा को प्रदूषण मुक्त करने के लिए लोगों ने सक्रिय समूहों का गठन किया। ये समूह वर्तमान में कार्यरत है। नदी जल ग्रहण में नर्मदा सेवकों के प्रयासों से हरियाली चुनरी का भाव विकसित हुआ। अब तक 5 लाख से अधिक पौधे सुव्यवस्थित है। विषैले रसायन से निर्मित मूर्ति के स्थान पर प्राकृतिक रंगों के उपयोग से मिट्टी की मूर्ति बनाने का 1 लाख से अधिक लोगों को प्रत्यक्ष रूप से प्रशिक्षण दिया जा चुका है। साथ ही घरेलू कुंड में मूर्ति विसर्जन को प्रोत्साहन दिया गया। नदी संरक्षण के लिए पर्यावरण पंचकोशी यात्राओं का आयोजन हुआ, जिसमें हजारों छात्र छात्राएं भागीदार बने। कोविड काल में 300 से अधिक परिक्रमा वासियों को सुरक्षित स्थानों पर पहुंचाया। अब तक 5 बड़े नदी महोत्सव एवं 1 लघु नदी उत्सव आयोजित किया जा चुका है, जिनमें नदियों पर कार्य कर रहे लोगों को नदी और उससे जुड़े विषयों पर संवाद का मंच उपलब्ध हुआ। 2013 में नदी नीति के लिए बांद्रा भान दृष्टि पत्र प्रकाशित हुआ, जिसे भारत सरकार द्वारा स्वीकार किया गया। 2015 में 310 नदियों का प्रतिनिधित्व रहा। नर्मदा जल ग्रहण क्षेत्र में प्राकृतिक कृषि करने वाले कृषकों व उपभोक्ताओं के बीच कड़ी का निर्माण किया गया। नर्मदा के तटवर्ती दुर्गम क्षेत्र में बुनियादी स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं उपलब्ध कराने के लिए वर्ष 2011 से अपने तरह की प्रथम नदी एम्बुलेंस संचालित की जा रही है। इसके माध्यम से अब तक 75,000 से अधिक लोगों को निःशुल्क चिकित्सा सुविधा उपलब्ध कराई गई है। कोविड के दौरान भी इसका संचालन जारी रहा, जिसमें 479 वनवासी परिवारों को खाद्य सामग्री उपलब्ध कराई एवं प्रशासन से समन्वय स्थापित कराया गया। विगत वर्षों में 1000 से अधिक महिलाओं और बालिकाओं को हाइजीन किट निःशुल्क वितरित किए गए और 250 परिवारों को रसोई किट का वितरण भी किया गया। कार्य के विस्तार हेतु एवं ग्रामीणों की आवश्यकताओं को ध्यान में रखते हुए 2018 में अलीराजपुर जिले के ग्राम ककराना में रेवा सेवा केंद्र की स्थापना की गई। सामाजिक संस्थाओं एवं कृषि विभाग के साथ मिलकर शून्य बजट प्राकृतिक कृषि पर 5 दिवसीय कार्यशाला का आयोजन किया गया, जिसमें 3000 से भी अधिक कृषकों ने प्रशिक्षण प्राप्त किया। उज्जैन सिंहस्थ के दौरान अंतर्राष्ट्रीय वैचारिक महाकुंभ के आयोजन में नर्मदा समग्र की महती भूमिका रही। वैचारिक महाकुंभ में जलवायु परिवर्तन, कुटीर उद्योग, महिला सशक्तिकरण, प्राकृतिक कृषि जैसे आधारभूत विषयों पर विभिन्न वैचारिक सत्र आयोजित किए गए। इस विचार मंथन से निकले निष्कर्षों को सिंहस्थ 2016 के सार्वभौम अमृत संदेश के रूप में जन जन तक पहुंचाया। जलवायु परिवर्तन के वैश्विक संकट पर संयुक्त राष्ट्र द्वारा आयोजित जलवायु परिवर्तन सम्मेलन UNFCCC में नर्मदा समग्र की भागीदारी रही। नदी के उद्गम से संगम तक स्वास्थ्य का नियमित परीक्षण और उनके प्रकाशन की पहल कर भारत सरकार को नदी आयुर्विज्ञान संस्थान बनाने के लिए परिकल्पना प्रस्तुत की। नदी के जल परीक्षण की पहल आरंभ की, जिसमें 100 घाटों के समीप के 100 स्कूलों को जोड़ा गया, जिससे लगभग 5000 विद्यार्थी जुड़े। नर्मदा समग्र द्वारा अमरकंटक पर किए प्राथमिक अध्ययन एवं वैज्ञानिक तरीके से किए शोध के आधार पर नर्मदा जी एवं सोन जैसी बड़ी नदियों के उद्गम स्थल अमरकंटक पर प्रेषित नीतिगत विषयों को वर्ष 2022 में शासन द्वारा संज्ञान लिया गया एवं कुछ महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लिए गए। नर्मदा और सहायक नदियों पर होने वाले कार्यों पर केंद्रित तथा पर्यावरण चेतना के लिए संस्था के मुखपत्र के रूप में नर्मदा समग्र पत्रिका का प्रकाशन किया गया था। इस पत्रिका को सबका आशीर्वाद और प्रतिसाद मिलता रहा है। इसके एक अंक नीर, नदी और नारी के लिए हमें भारत के प्रधान सेवक श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का बृहद संदेश प्राप्त हुआ है, जिसमें उन्होंने नारी नेतृत्व में विकास का मंत्र दिया है। नदियों पर केंद्रित सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन रेडियो रेवा 90.8 FM का जबलपुर में कार्य आरंभ हुआ। नर्मदा समग्र को मध्य प्रदेश शासन द्वारा 2022 का पर्यावरण एवं जल संरक्षण क्षेत्र में शीर्ष पुरस्कार मध्य प्रदेश गौरव सम्मान से सम्मानित किया गया है। आगामी वर्षों में रिवर हेल्थ और रिवर लिटरेसी पर कार्य करने और समग्र रूप से नर्मदा जी के सांस्कृतिक, सामाजिक, आर्थिक, पारिस्थितिकीय विषयों के एक स्थान पर लाने की सोच के साथ हम विभिन्न माध्यमों से कार्य की गति एवं विस्तार करेंगे, जैसे युवक युवतियों की सक्रिय भागीदारी सुनिश्चित करना, संचार माध्यमों के उपयोग से नदी एवं उससे जुड़े विभिन्न पहलुओं पर व्यापक सामग्री तैयार कर उसका प्रचार प्रसार, नर्मदा सेवकों के प्रशिक्षण एवं क्षमतावर्धन हेतु शासकीय, अशासकीय संस्थानों, विभागों, अकादमिक संस्थानों एवं विषय विशेषज्ञों के साथ मिलकर कार्य करना, शोध एवं दस्तावेजीकरण हेतु कार्यकर्ताओं, विद्यार्थियों, एकेडमिक संस्थानों, पॉलिसी इंस्टीट्यूट के साथ साझेदारी करना, नर्मदा नदी स्वास्थ्य सूचकांक की परिकल्पना को मूर्त रूप देने हेतु विचार मंथन एवं कार्य आरंभ करना। इस सब का आधार नर्मदा समग्र के संस्थापन के दौरान ही बने विजन 2047 को ध्यान में रखकर ही वर्तमान और भविष्य के कार्य योजना की रचना की जा रही है।
धन्यवाद। एक छोटा सा वीडियो आप सब लोगों के समक्ष प्रस्तुत किया गया, जिसमें नर्मदा समग्र के विगत 15 वर्षों की थोड़ी बहुत जो गतिविधियां हम कर पाए उसको प्रस्तुत करने का प्रयास किया है। बहुत फास्ट वीडियो था, थोड़ा सा कुछ चीज़ें सुनने में भी होगा, हमने किसी पर्टिकुलर ऑब्जेक्टिव के लिए बनाया था, तो होपफुली आप सब लोगों को थोड़ा ठीक से देखने सुनने में आया होगा। नर्मदा जी पे विगत 15-16 वर्षों से हम निरंतर कम्युनिटी बेस्ड एक्टिविटीज, समाज के साथ समाज आधारित गतिविधियां ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं। इसके पूर्व के सत्र में हमने काफ़ी सारा तकनीकी और नदी के वृहद पक्ष को देखा कि किस तरह से नदी के विभिन्न आयाम हैं और जानने का प्रयास किया। पर उसका एक मूल रूप अगर हम देखें तो नदी केवल दो तटों के बीच बहता पानी नहीं है। नर्मदा समग्र इस विषय को लेके निरंतर आग्रह करता है कि नदी एक जीवित इकाई है और उद्गम से संगम तक उसे एक रूप में देखना चाहिए, न कि विभिन्न राज्यों या जिलों के इसमें। एक काम करने का तंत्र हो सकता है, पर नदी को एक संपूर्ण इकाई के रूप में देखना चाहिए। इस इकाई का अपना एक जल तंत्र है, इसका अपना एक श्वसन तंत्र है, इसका अपना एक प्यूरिफिकेशन सिस्टम है, इसके अपने जंगल हैं, इसके अपने खेत हैं, इसके किनारे बसने वाले लोगों की एक अपनी परंपरा है, उनकी उससे जुड़ी हुई आजीविका है, उसमें उनका अध्यात्म और धर्म जुड़ा हुआ है। विश्व भर की नदियों में शायद वो सब ना ही होता है जो भारत की नदियों में होता है। नर्मदा हो या देश की कोई भी नदी, उसके किनारे हम जाते हैं, उससे संवाद करते हैं, उससे अपनी पीड़ा व्यक्त करते हैं, उससे अपनी खुशी व्यक्त करते हैं। हमारे सृजन से विसर्जन तक जल का महत्व है, नदियों का महत्व है। ऐसी हमारी पुण्य नदियां हैं। तो इन नदियों के संरक्षण को लेकर आज जो विषय फ्लोइंग रिवर्स को लेकर आज बातचीत चल रही है, उसके कल आपने शायद बायो एंजाइम्स और इन सारे विषयों पे भी चर्चा की, आज और 20 सत्र होंगे। तो इस तरह के विषयों में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका यह है कि मनुष्य का, या हम जिस समाज में रह रहे हैं, या रिपेरियन कहें, या जो भी शब्द उसका हो, उसकी एक महती भूमिका है। उसका मानस, उसका बिहेवियरल या ह्यूमन नेचर इंटरेक्शन, ह्यूमन रिवर इंटरेक्शन, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हम नदी को माँ तो कहते हैं, लेकिन उसके साथ व्यवहार वैसा नहीं करते हैं, ये अक्सर देखने में आता है। और कुछ स्थानों पे हम जिस चीज को इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज कर देते हैं, चाहे वो किसी तरह के धार्मिक परिप्रेक्ष्य में हो या किसी तरह के पॉलिसी सिस्टम में, तो वहां पे रिवर का एक बहुत अच्छा सिस्टम भी हमें देखने को मिलता है। तो हमारे सामने बहुत सारे मॉडल्स हैं और बहुत सारे कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी मॉडल्स भी हैं, सब एक साथ चलते हैं। यही हमारी यूनिकनेस है बायोडायवर्सिटी के साथ साथ। तो पर इसमें कैसे बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय है। अगर नर्मदा के परिप्रेक्ष्य में हम बात करें तो नर्मदा विंध्य और सतपुड़ा के बीच में बहने वाला एक जल तंत्र है, जो कि मैकल पर्वत से उद्गम होकर निकलता है। वहीं गंगा की प्रमुख सहायक नदी सोन का भी उद्गम है। इस तंत्र को समझना बहुत कठिन भी नहीं है और बहुत आसान भी नहीं है, पर अगर हम बहुत ध्यान से देखें तो एक नदी दो पहाड़ों के बीच या किसी भी पहाड़ों के बीच जब बहती है, तो इन्हीं पहाड़ों और जंगलों से रिस रिस वर्ष भर उसमें जल आता है। चाहे नर्मदा हो या अन्य देश की बाकी कुछ नदियां, हिमालयन रिवर्स को अगर छोड़ दें, तो इनमें ग्लेशियर से पानी नहीं आता। इसलिए ये जो पर्वत है, ये जो जंगल है, ये इसके वाटर बैंक के रूप में भूमिका निभाते हैं, जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। इसके ये घने जंगल अगर कटते गए, अगर अवैध खनन इसमें बढ़ता गया, तो इन नदियों को सूखने से कोई रोक नहीं सकता। अगर हम इसी परिप्रेक्ष्य में देखते हैं तो नर्मदा जो 1312 किलोमीटर लंबी है, 98,000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर जिसका जलग्रहण क्षेत्र है, 26 जिलों से जिसमें पानी आता है, मध्य प्रदेश की जीवन दायिनी कहलाती है। इसमें 41 बड़ी सहायक नदियां हैं और कुछ 60-61 छोटी छोटी धाराएं हैं जो वर्ष भर जल लाती है अलग अलग समय पर। लेकिन वर्तमान स्थिति यह है कि नर्मदा के को अपना जो अपनी जल राशि है, वो वर्तमान रूप में स्वयं उसे विकसित करना पड़ती है। सहायक नदियों में 30 से भी ज्यादा सहायक नदियां वर्ष भर पानी बरसात के दौरान ही ला पाती हैं, उसके बाद नहीं ला पाती। अगर हम प्रमुख समस्याओं की बात करें तो एक जलग्रहण में जो कटाव होता है, सॉइल इरोजन, और जो उसके बहुत सारे अलग अलग तरह के नुकसान हैं। मिट्टी जो अच्छी है वो बहुमूल्य मिट्टी तो बही जा रही है, साथ साथ में जो उसके ऊपर बांध बने हैं, डैम बने हैं, उनकी भी लाइफ को डैमेज करता है, उसका भी जीवन कम करता है, उसके सिस्टम को भी अफेक्ट करता है। दूसरी तरफ अगर हम और देखें तो रासायनिक खेती ये बहुत बढ़ती जा रही है। समय के साथ में हम लोग केमिकल फार्मिंग की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं और उसमें लाखों टन यूरिया, लाखों टन रसायन जो है वर्ष भर नदी में बहकर आता है, जो कि उसकी एक्वेटिक लाइफ को, उसके जल ग्रहण को बड़ा परिवर्तन में, मतलब उसमें बड़ा परिवर्तन आता है, काफी समस्याएं इसके साथ खड़ी होती है। इसका जो एक्वेटिक सिस्टम है, जीव जंतु है, वनस्पति हैं, दोनों को बहुत अच्छा खासी मात्रा में नुकसान होता है। और जो शुद्ध और निर्मल जल है उसको भी मिलने में हमें प्रॉब्लम आती है, और धीरे 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 ह्यूमन हेल्थ के ऊपर भी इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है। नर्मदा का अगर जल तंत्र की बात करें तो ये 4 राज्यों को बिजली देती है, 2 राज्यों को कृषि व पेयजल का इसमें प्रधान कारण है। इसलिए नर्मदा की सेवा करना कितना महत्वपूर्ण है, इससे हम स्वयं विचार कर सकते हैं। अभी तो मैं ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक बात कर रहा हूँ कि हमारे लिए ये जरूरी है, इसलिए इसको संरक्षित करना जरूरी है। पर अगर नर्मदा के इस तंत्र के अलावा बात करें तो उसका अपना एक अर्थतंत्र भी है, उसके मछुआरे हैं, उसके सीमांत किसान हैं, छोटे छोटे किसानों के अलावा पंडित पुजारी हैं, कुटीर उद्योग हैं, लाखों ऐसे श्रमिक हैं जो नदी के किनारे पे या नदी की वजह से उसके उद्योग और उस नगरीय रचना पे निर्भर करते हैं। इसका अपना एक अर्थतंत्र है, इसको भी हमें समग्र रूप से विचार करना चाहिए। अगर इतनी बड़ी नदी कहें तो ये केवल सौंदर्य की नदी नहीं रह जाती, ये सुख देने वाली नदी भी हो। नर्मदा एकमात्र नदी है, अगर हम इसके धार्मिक पक्ष की बात करें, आध्यात्मिक पक्ष की बात करें, तो नर्मदा एकमात्र नदी है जिसकी परिक्रमा होती है। यह एक बड़ा अनूठा एक विषय है। अगर हम इसे देखें तो वस्तुतः यह प्रकृति और परमात्मा से संवाद करने का एक आरंभ है, एक ऐसी परिक्रमा है। इस परिक्रमा से मतलब अगर हम कहें तो पैदल किनारे किनारे ठहरते हुए लोक संवाद व लोक दर्शन से देव दर्शन की ओर आगे बढ़ना, यही परिक्रमा है। यही कारण है कि इस नदी के किनारे सर्वाधिक साधक पाए जाते हैं। और एक कहावत भी है कि नर्मदा किनारे यहाँ तो कमंडल से कमंडल टकरा रहे हैं। तो अगर हम इन सब चीजों को समाहित करते हैं, देखते हैं, तो विंध्य हो, सतपुड़ा हो, ये कैसे वंधन है और ये वंधन कैसे जलधन है, ये हमें समझ में आता है। तो ये सारे अलग अलग पक्षों को हमें समग्र रूप से देखना बहुत जरूरी है। विगत दिनों हमने मध्य प्रदेश शासन में एक हस्तक्षेप करने का प्रयास किया। हमने अमरकंटक के ऊपर एक वृहद अध्ययन किया, जिसमें हमने पाया कि विगत 20 वर्षों में जो एंथ्रोपोजेनिक इम्पैक्ट है, मनुष्य जनित गतिविधियां हैं, उससे क्या क्या प्रभाव आ रहे हैं। तो उसे टेक्निकल, सोशल, कल्चरल, इंस्टीट्यूशनल, इकोनॉमिकल, पॉलिसी डोमेन्स को हमने इस तरह के 6 डोमेन्स को हमने एक साथ स्टडी किया और इसको इंटीग्रेट करने की कोशिश की कि एज अ होलिस्टिक इम्पैक्ट क्या है। सामान्यतः हम नदी के बारे में जब बात करते हैं तो हम उसके पॉल्यूशन की बात करते हैं कि पानी गंदा हो रहा है, इसमें ऐसा पॉल्यूशन आ रहा है, बहुत ही होगा तो उसके सोर्स की बात करते हैं। लेकिन ये इम्पैक्ट हो किस वजह से रहा है, कितने समय में हुआ है, कितना चेंज हुआ है, इसको हम डिटेल में नहीं जाते, क्योंकि अगर हम उसको देखने जाने की कोशिश करेंगे तो हमें वाटरशेड लेवल पे जाना पड़ेगा या बेसिन लेवल पे जाना पड़ेगा, जो बहुत जरूरी हो गया है आज की तारीख में। तो हमने ये कंसेप्ट डेवलप किया, इसे फ्लोट किया, इसके ऊपर एक स्टडी की, जिसमें हमें जीआईएस मैपिंग के थ्रू और फील्ड स्टडी और सर्वे के थ्रू ये ध्यान में आया कि विगत 20 वर्षों में केवल एक अमरकंटक जो उद्गम का स्थान है उसमें 35% से डेंस फॉरेस्ट कम हो गया है, 36% से साल मिक्स फॉरेस्ट जो वहाँ का यूनिक स्पीशीज है, साल के पेड़, वो कम हो गए हैं। 107% से कृषि बढ़ गई है, 200% से करीब करीब आबादी बढ़ गई है, रहवासी लोग बढ़ गए हैं, मतलब हैबिटेशन बढ़ गया है। इसके अलावा अगर हम देखें तो ओपन मिक्स फॉरेस्ट जो है वो 150% से बढ़ गया है। ऐसे ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस 20 सालों में दिखे। साथ साथ में देखा तो रेनफॉल अगर हम देखते हैं, वैसे रेनफॉल का तो बड़ा डोमेन होता है, 100 वर्षों का हमें देखना चाहिए, पर 20 वर्षों का अगर हमने अनुमान निकाला तो उसमें ध्यान में आया कि 40% से ज्यादा रेनफॉल बढ़ा है। और वो चीज जस्टिफाई होती है कि रन ऑफ बढ़ गया है, जंगल कम हुआ है तो रन ऑफ भी बढ़ेगा, पानी मटमेला होना शुरू हो गया है, ग्राउंड वाटर डिप्लीशन देखा गया जो लगातार 7 साल से ट्रैक हो रहा है, चाहे वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के रिकॉर्ड्स हों चाहे वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के रिकॉर्ड्स हों। तो ये सारी चीजें बताने का तात्पर्य ये है कि हमें नदी को इसके आजू बाजू के, इसके आसपास के पूरे तंत्र को समझने की आवश्यकता है। और जब हम पूरे तंत्र को देखेंगे तब हमें समझ में आएगा कि नदी के ऊपर ओवरऑल हमारी गतिविधियों का प्रभाव क्या हो रहा है। हमें ऐसा लगता है कि बारिश बढ़ गई है लेकिन वहां ग्राउंड वाटर डिप्लीट हो रहा है, तो पानी जा कहाँ रहा है। तो ये छोटी छोटी गतिविधियां हैं जो मनुष्य जनित गतिविधियां हैं, यही कारण है। और उसके साथ में आजकल ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, क्लाइमेट चेंज का एक बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है, जो उसके साथ क्लब हो जाता है तो उसका इम्पैक्ट मैसिव हो जाता है और बुरा होता है। तो ये जो प्रयास है, ये जो काम है, ये केवल तकनीकी रूप से होंगे ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, ये केवल किसी एक धार्मिक विषय से होंगे ऐसा भी जरूरी नहीं है। इसमें समाज, धर्म, आध्यात्म, इसमें पॉलिटिक्स, इसमें पॉलिटिकल विल, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और हमें स्वतः जागरूक होकर इस पे कार्य करने की आवश्यकता है। हर व्यक्ति को कम से कम इसमें योगदान देने की आवश्यकता है। हम अक्सर कहते हैं कि मेरे एक बूंद पानी बचा लेने से क्या होगा, तो बूंद बूंद से ही सागर भरता है। वही एक बूंद आज जब आप जहाँ बैठे हैं, आप किसी जगह बैठे हैं, वो जलग्रहण किसी नदी का होगा, वहां का बहता हुआ पानी शायद कहीं होते हुए गंगा जी में जाएगा, तो आपका, आपके क्षेत्र का पानी गंगा जी में जा रहा है तो आपका योगदान है। हर नदी को हम गंगा मानते हैं। वैसे ही मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ, यहाँ बैठ के शायद गंगा जल ग्रहण में, नर्मदा जल ग्रहण में बैठा हूँ। तो हमें ये प्रयास करना चाहिए कि मैं बड़ी नदी का तो योगदान नहीं कर सकता या उस पर श्रमदान नहीं कर सकता, कुछ नहीं कर सकता, नदियों की सेवा कर सकता हूँ। नदी बचाना तो एक ये हमारे संस्थापक अनिल दवे जी कहते थे, हिमालय बचा लेंगे, नदी बचा लेंगे। अरे कैसे बचा लेंगे? उनका कहना था एक प्रयास मात्र करिए, बहुत है। आप लाखों वर्ष का उसका जीवन काल है, आप 50-60 वर्षों के लिए आए हो, कैसे बचा लो? ये आपका भ्रम है, ये आपका ईगो है, उससे आपको बाहर आना चाहिए। हम सेवा कर सकते हैं, हम अपनी तरफ से पूरा प्रयास कर सकते हैं, एकजुट होकर कर सकते हैं। और इसके लिए अगर मंत्र जो नर्मदा समग्र पालन करता है, कोशिश करता है हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं को, लोगों के साथ, तो हम करते हैं मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, हम क्या कर सकते हैं और सब क्या कर सकते हैं। इस दिशा में इस तरह से हम लोग काम करते हैं, मैं से हम से सब। तब किसी नदी के संरक्षण की बात हो सकती है, तब किसी प्राकृतिक संरक्षण की बात हो सकती है। और नदी केवल मतलब एक बड़ा इकोसिस्टम है, जैसा मैंने शुरुआत में भी बताया। तो इन सारे चीजों को लेके हम इस प्रकार से काम करते हैं। मेरे पास बहुत ज्यादा कहने के लिए शायद बातें नहीं है, क्योंकि ज्यादातर चीजें हम फील्ड में ही करते हैं और काम करने का प्रयास करते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा उसका प्रस्तुतिकरण नहीं है। और इसलिए लगातार निरंतर इतने वर्षों से प्रयासरत हैं। आप लोग इसमें कुछ किसी तरह से जोड़ना चाहें, कोई विषय पूछना चाहें तो बिल्कुल स्वागत है। शेष हमारे इसके पूर्व के 2 सत्र और लगातार इतनी सारी बातें हुई कि मैं कुछ चीजें दोहराऊं वो भी ठीक नहीं रहेगा। तो मैं हमारे द्वारा किए जा रहे प्रयास, जो कि बाकी नदियों के लिए भी शायद उपयोगी हो सकते हैं, उतना ही मैंने अपनी तरफ से बताने का प्रयास किया। कुछ इसमें आपको लगता है कि और छूट रहा हो, आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं, मैं उसे शायद बता पाऊँ। धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। एक आपने शुरुआत की तो मुझे लगा कि अभी आप प्रेजेंटेशन शेयर करेंगे, पर जब आपने बोलना शुरू किया तो मुझे लगा कि आपको प्रेजेंटेशन की जरूरत ही नहीं है। आपके दिमाग में ही सारे आपके इतने काम जो आपने किए हैं वो सब फिक्स है, और सब आपने अच्छे से हमें सब समझाया। और एक जो बातचीत होती है ना, उसमें आपने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बताई जो मैं बोलना चाहूंगी, कि आपने कहा कि हम क्या बचाएंगे उनको। 50-60 साल के लिए हम आए हैं और हम बचाएंगे जो लाखों साल से यहाँ पे खड़े हैं। तो वो हम द डिस्कशन दैट हैपेंस अराउंड एनवायरनमेंट ऑल्सो, दैट वी आर सेविंग एनवायरनमेंट, एक्चुअली वी आर नॉट सेविंग एनवायरनमेंट। हम तो खुद को ही बचा रहे हैं, वी आर ओनली सेविंग आवर सेल्व्स, कि हमारी
तो
एग्जिस्टेंस।
डेफिनेटली हम ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक अप्रोच से ही काम करते हैं। अभी हम जो अध्ययन कर रहे थे, हमने जो मैंने आपको बताया अमरकंटक पे किया, दैट वाज रिवर सेंट्रिक। हमने ये प्रयास किया जानने का कि नदी के किनारे में कैसे चेंजेस हुए हैं। तो वो ह्यूमंस ने ही चेंज किए हैं, उसका तो सिस्टम जैसा है वैसा चल रहा है। उसके किनारे जो मेले लगते थे वो लगते थे, आपको ऐसा लगने लगा, हमें ऐसा लगने लगा कि नहीं यहाँ तो ये वाला त्योहार भी मनाना चाहिए, तो हमने वो शुरू कर दिया। जो परंपरागत रूप से चलता आ रहा था उसमें हमने 4 चीजें जोड़ भी दी, उसको खराब भी कर दी, और सुधारने की जगह उसमें इतना कुछ बढ़ा दिया है कि वो सिस्टम के बाहर हो गया है। हमें ही समझ नहीं आता कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं।
हम क्या कर रहे हैं। सर आपके लिए बहुत सारे सवाल आए हैं, तो मैं
ओके।
शुरुआत करती हूँ। नीता जी, नीता गांगुली, प्लीज अपना सवाल पूछिए।
थैंक यू सो मच। दोनों ही स्पीकर्स बहुत ही अच्छे थे एंड रियली एंजॉयड इट। एक क्वेश्चन मैं पूछना चाहती हूँ। ये जो हमारा जो एक प्रोजेक्ट है इंटरलिंकिंग ऑफ रिवर्स का, और जैसे पहले स्पीकर ने कहा कि रिवर तो कोर्स भी चेंज कर सकता है। सो हाउ बेनिफिशियल ये होगा, क्योंकि आई बिलीव द कैन बेतवा लिंक प्रोजेक्ट वो अभी फिनिशिंग में है, या ज्वाइनिंग द मध्य प्रदेश से उत्तर प्रदेश में पानी ले जाने के लिए। ऑफ कोर्स ड्राउट एरियाज है उनका ये है, बट हम लोग एक एनवायरनमेंट का जो एक है ना, जो एक नेचर ने जो कोर्स डिसाइड किया है उसको चेंज करके जब हम लिंकिंग करें तो समहाउ देयर इज अ ह्यूमन इंटरफेरेंस इसमें जरूर होता है। तो इसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है एनवायरनमेंट में, हाउ इफेक्टिव इज गोइंग टू बी?
दिस इज फॉर मी, राइट?
यस सर।
Yes, anyone can answer it.
जी देखिए, मैं तो खुद भी फील्ड में काम कर रहा हूँ। आपके प्रश्न में दोनों बातें हैं, वो ह्यूमन जो उसका बेनिफिट होने वाला है उसकी भी बात है, और जो नेचर के साथ या एनवायरनमेंट के साथ होने वाला है उसकी भी बात है। लेकिन अब ये हमें भी नहीं पता है, आपको भी नहीं पता है कि होने क्या वाला है या क्या होगा। जैसे पिछले इसके पहले जिन्होंने बताया उन्होंने यमुना जी के कोर्स का पूरा सिस्टम बताया, कैसे चेंज हुआ और कहाँ वो ईस्ट से वेस्ट में फ्लो करने लगी और कैसे हुआ। देखिए मेरी जितनी अपनी समझ है, मैं इसका बहुत बड़ा ज्ञाता तो नहीं हूँ, बट मैं जो समझ पा रहा हूँ कि इसमें कुछ बातें तो सच में बहुत हानिकारक हो सकती हैं संभवतः, क्योंकि उसका अपना एक सिस्टम है, उसकी अपनी एक दिशा है बहने की, उसका अपना एक डाइवर्सिटी है। और जो हम एग्रो क्लाइमेटिक जोन्स कहते हैं या जिस तरह के क्लाइमेटिक जोन्स से वो निकलती है वो अलग है। हम उसको किसी और डाइवर्जन के साथ जोड़ने वाले हैं, चैनल के साथ जोड़ने वाले हैं, जिसका सिस्टम कुछ और है। हो सकता है कि वो दोनों जाकर किसी एक ही नदी में मिलती हों, ये भी एक संभावना है, हो सकता है नहीं भी मिलती हों। पर वो क्या करेंगी और कैसे होगा, उसका जो पूरा एक स्ट्रक्चर था, उसका जो जियोलॉजिकल कंडीशन था, सॉइल फॉर्मेशन था, वो अलग है, यहाँ अलग है। तो उसमें जो आने की पानी की क्वालिटी और जो उसके पानी के सिस्टम था वो किस तरह से होगा, ये तो अभी किसी को भी नहीं पता है। इसमें कुछ लोगों का मत है, जो मुझे भी लगता है कि एक जगह ट्रायल करके उसका प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट बना करके देख लेना चाहिए, हमने ऐसा किया तो क्या हुआ। और हमें थोड़ा रुक करके एक मतलब प्रामाणिक रूप से इसको अच्छे से करके देखना चाहिए। अगर करना है तो एक बार करके देखिए कि क्या होता है। एक साथ 8 10 15 जोड़ देंगे और फिर पता चला इतना नुकसान हो गया कि कुछ कर ही नहीं पा रहे, संभाल ही नहीं पा रहे हैं, या हो सकता है फायदा भी हो जाए। ये तो आप भी प्रिडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते, मैं भी प्रिडिक्ट नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि नेचर इतना डायनामिक है, इतनी चीजें होती हैं उसके अंदर कि हम कभी कभी सोचते हैं कि ऐसा हो जाने से ऐसा हो जाएगा, जंगल लगा देने से पानी आ जाएगा, पर ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है। उसका अपना एक सिस्टम है। वो पानी पेड़ लगाने से ही आएगा ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, या वो पानी पेड़ नहीं लगाने से आएगा ऐसा भी जरूरी नहीं है। तो पता नहीं मैं आपके प्रश्न का कितना सटीक जवाब दे पाया, क्योंकि ये प्रश्न ऐसा है कि जिसका कोई सटीक जवाब मेरे ख्याल से नहीं है, क्योंकि एक मत कहेगा कि गलत है, एक मत कहेगा सही है। और आज तो आवश्यकता आपकी मेरी भी पानी की है। सरकार कोई भी हो, जब कोई आप किसी चीज को लीड करते हैं, आप अपने परिवार को लीड करते हैं, तो आपको एक समय कुछ समय ऐसे निर्णय लेने पड़ते हैं या कुछ समय ऐसे निर्णयों में जाना पड़ता है जो आपको लगता है दूरगामी रूप में पता नहीं इसके क्या परिणाम आएंगे। तो मैं इसके ऊपर जैसा सवाल है वैसा ही जवाब रखते हुए कहूंगा कि ये बहुत मतलब क्लिष्ट प्रश्न है और टेक्निकली बहुत सारी चीजें इसमें इन्वॉल्व हैं। संभवतः ठीक नहीं है, पर एक जगह छोटा प्रयास या प्रयोग करके अगर लगता है या कभी किसी ने किया हो तो उसके परिणाम भी लोगों ने सामने रखने चाहिए कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ, ये गलत था, यही सही था, इसमें इस तरह से हुआ, उसमें उस तरह से हुआ। और हमारे बाकी जो तंत्र है वो वर्किंग में, इतने सालों से इंटरलिंकिंग की बात चल रही है, अब जाके थोड़ी बहुत चीजें आगे बढ़ी हैं। आप सोचिए इतने वर्ष लग रहे हैं, अभी तो जब पानी था तब चीजें नहीं हो पा रही थी, अब तो पानी खत्म हो रहा है, धीरे धीरे कम हो रहा है, जोड़ के भी कितना फर्क पड़ेगा। तो ये तो करके देखने वाला प्रयोग है।
थैंक यू सो
थैंक
मच
यू।
सर।
हाँ, मैं एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूँ डॉक्टर कार्तिक जी।
जी
ये जो, क्योंकि ये बात सही है कि ग्लेशियर नहीं है और पहाड़ों और जो नदियां जो इससे मिलती है सब्सिडरी, वो सारी सारी इस नदी को बनाती है, मान नदी को बनाती है। तो इसकी जो सब्सिडरी जो छोटी नदियां हैं जो आपने जिक्र किया है, इस नदी को वापस व्यवस्थित बनाने के लिए क्या उन छोटी नदियों पे हम काम कर रहे हैं क्या?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। एक तो करना भी चाहिए, और अगर हम आप हमारे परिप्रेक्ष्य में नर्मदा समग्र की दृष्टि से बात कर रहे हैं तो हमने अभी इसके ऊपर छोटे छोटे इसमें प्रयास शुरू किए हैं कुछ स्थानों पे। अभी चूंकि हमारी गतिविधियां समाज आधारित ज़्यादा हैं, तो हम लोगों को जोड़ना, उन्हें उस नदी के किनारे, जैसे हम नर्मदा किनारे करते हैं, युवाओं को ले जाते हैं, पर्यावरण पंचकोशी यात्राएं करते हैं साल में एक बार दीपावली के बाद, जब थोड़ा नदी के किनारे युवा चलता है वो चीज़ों को समझने की कोशिश करता है। ऐसे हमने सहायक नदियों का धीरे धीरे मैपिंग शुरू किया है, उसके साथ में क्या गतिविधियां हो सकती है, वहाँ श्रमदान हो सकता है, उसके कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट्स क्या हैं, उसकी बाकी चीजें क्या हैं, उस नदी के साथ हमें कौन सी चीजें करने से सुविधा होगी, असुविधा होगी, कौन सी चीजें और लोगों के ध्यान में लाने की आवश्यकता है, उसका क्या महत्व है। ऐसे छोटे छोटे इनिशिएटिव शुरू किए हैं। चूंकि हमारा वर्किंग स्टाइल उस तरह का है, इसलिए हमें उस पैटर्न में उसको लेके जाना, कम्युनिटी को एंगेज करना बहुत जरूरी है। क्योंकि अभी तक का मेरा ये पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस भी है कि हम कोई स्कीम लेके आते हैं, कोई भी मतलब गवर्नमेंट लाती है या कोई व्यक्ति लाता है, और उस स्कीम को आपने मैंने विदेश में जाके देखा, बहुत सुंदर लगी, बहुत अच्छी लगी, उसको लेके आ गए, इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए लाए। आपने मुझे कहा, मैंने तो देखी नहीं, आपने देखी थी, पर आपने कहा है तो मैं उसे वर्किंग में लाने की कोशिश करूंगा। लेकिन जिनके लिए लाऊंगा उन्हें तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं देखा, उन्हें तो मालूम भी नहीं है, उनका प्रशिक्षण भी नहीं हुआ है। तो कई बार हमारे सिस्टम इसलिए कोलैप्स होते हैं या थोड़ा से बिगड़ते हैं कि जिसके लिए लाया गया है उसे वो मालूम ही नहीं है कि ये क्यों लाया गया है, इसका उद्देश्य क्या है और ये काम कैसे करेगा। और जिसने देखा है वो तो बहुत हाई इस पे सोच रहा था, उसने व्यापक सोचा, बड़ा सोचा, लेकिन उस नीचे के छोटे से व्यक्ति के ऊपर किसका उसको मतलब कैसे जोड़ना है। हो सकता है कि वो हमारे यहाँ भी सक्सेसफुल हो जाए, लेकिन जब तक ट्रेनिंग ही नहीं होगी, उसका इवैल्यूएशन ट्रेनिंग, उसका रिव्यू, उसका फीडबैक, उसका एक सिस्टम डेवलप नहीं होगा, तो वो कैसे चलेगा। ऐसे ही हमारे वर्किंग में हम लोग लोगों को साथ जोड़ करके, जब तक मेरा आपका मानस नहीं बनेगा कि मुझे प्लास्टिक नहीं फेंकना है, मुझे नदी गंदी नहीं करना है, तब तक वो कैसे होगा। सरकार भी कितने एफर्ट्स लगाएगी, कितना साफ कर लेगी, कचरा तो बढ़ता ही जा रहा है, दिन ब दिन चीजें बढ़ती ही जा रही है। आप और मैं जब तक थोड़ा नियंत्रण नहीं करेंगे तब तक बाकी सिस्टम भी नहीं हो पाएगा। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि आप जो कह रहे हैं सहायक नदियों पे काम होना चाहिए और वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है।
मुझे लगता है
जी।
मुझे लगता है कि ये जो सहायक नदियां जितनी भी है,
जी।
इनके उद्गम को हमें एक बार संभालना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल।
उन सभी नदियों के उद्गम को संभालने के लिए जो उस क्षेत्र में रहते हैं, उन लोगों को हमें सक्रिय करते हुए उनकी सहभागिता बढ़ानी चाहिए।
मैं आपको
तो
इसमें
एक
एक
एक नदी
जानकारी
को
देना चाहूंगा। हमारे प्रदेश में अभी रिसेंटली हमारे कुछ एक रूरल डेवलपमेंट डिपार्टमेंट से और बाकी डिपार्टमेंट से, सिर्फ विभाग के लोग नहीं, जब मंत्री भी धीरे धीरे, हमने सहायक नदियों का मैपिंग शुरू किया है। उसके उद्गम पर जाकर उसको उद्गम को आइडेंटिफाई करके उसे मार्क करने की कोशिश की है। वहां पे कौन से नेटिव स्पीशीज की जरूरत है उसको आइडेंटिफाई करके प्लांटेशन धीरे धीरे शुरू किया है। इसके परिणाम शायद अगले 15-20 सालों में दिखेंगे, लेकिन आज शुरुआत हुई है। जो आपने कहा है उसको मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, हमारे यहाँ पे ये शुरुआत हुई है।
और जो धर्म पे भी हमें फोकस करना चाहिए। अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा आपके
धन्यवाद।
पूरे वक्तव्य से।
सर अभी हम
ठीक
आपको
है।
फ्री नहीं करेंगे, दो लोग और हैं
नहीं
आपसे
नहीं,
सवाल पूछने के
ठीक,
लिए। तो
बहुत टाइम।
विपिन सरीन सर, प्लीज पूछिए।
जी आदरणीय नमस्कार।
नमस्ते जी।
मैं मेरे प्रश्न को आप अगर रेलेवेंट ना हो तो मना कर दीजिएगा ताकि दूसरों का समय खराब ना हो। आपने कहा अपना एक बूंद बचाइए, तो मैं उस पक्ष में बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि अगर मैं प्राकृतिक पानी को कहीं से और बचाता हूँ, मान लो मैं दूध उबलता है और दूध का पानी बचा लेता हूँ, या गन्ने के रस से गुड़ बनता है, उस पानी को मैं पहले हवा में फेंकने के बजाय बाहर निकाल लेता हूँ और उसको या तो कहीं यूज करूँ, या मैं अगर यूज करता हूँ तो मेरा दूसरा पानी बचता है, या मैं उसको पृथ्वी को वापस भेज दूँ, तो क्या ये मेरा कंट्रीब्यूशन होगा?
नहीं, डेफिनेटली होगा। आप कहाँ से बात कर रहे हैं?
मैं अम्बाला से हूँ सर।
बिल्कुल।
मैंने
मैं
रिसेंटली
आपसे आग्रह करूंगा कि आप पर्यावरण संरक्षण गतिविधि से अवश्य जुड़ें। आपके वहाँ पे ऐसे छोटे छोटे बहुत अच्छे अच्छे प्रयोग जो है वो पर्यावरण संरक्षण गतिविधि के माध्यम से पूरे देश भर में हो रहे हैं। ये जो आपने कहा है, इसे हम कहते हैं हरित घर। हरित घर में अलग 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 तरह की चीजें हैं कि मैं व्यक्तिगत स्तर पे क्या कर सकता हूँ। आपने पानी बचाया, उसको क्या उपयोग किया, आपने अपना बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन किया, आपने अपना वाटर कहीं जाने से बचा लिया, वेस्ट वाटर जाने से बचा लिया, या अपना वाटर रीयूज कर लिया। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो आपका
हर
बिल्कुल बड़ा
हर
योगदान है।
सॉरी सर, मतलब हर जगह जहाँ भी दूध काढ़ा जाता है, चाहे वो खीर बनानी है चाहे वो रबड़ी बनानी है, जहाँ भी दूध को गर्म किया जाता है, विदाउट एनी इन्वेस्टमेंट वी कैन सेव द वाटर 60% आउट ऑफ द मिल्क, एंड देन वी कैन मेक द सेम प्रोडक्ट।
इनफैक्ट मैं भी इसे नोट करूंगा, ये बहुत अच्छा आपने
मैं
बताया।
जब चाहो जिसको चाहो सिखा सकता हूँ 15 मिनट में सर।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
जब मुझे समझ देंगे आप, मैं बताऊँ, ताकि हर गृहिणी जब घर में खीर बनाती है तो दूध को काढ़े नहीं, उसको दो हिस्सों में बांट दे। एक पानी निकला हुआ, उससे चाय बना ले और अपने चाय का पानी बचा ले, या
वाह।
उससे दही बना ले, और बाकी कड़े हुए दूध से वो जो भी चीज़ें बनाना चाहे बनाए। ये
बिल्कुल
घर घर शुरू हो सकता है सर।
साहब, आपने जो बात बोली, भारत में ऐसी बहुत छोटे छोटे प्रयोग होते हैं, तो हम शहरों में रह के ऐसी बातें करने लगे हैं। आप देखिए, पुराने समय में आपने भी, मैंने भी यहाँ तक किया है कि हमारा कोई पुराना कपड़ा है, उससे पहले उपयोग किया, फिर वो कुछ फटा या खराब हुआ तो उसे सिलाने की कोशिश की, फिर उपयोग किया, फिर जब तक वो पूरी तरह से खराब नहीं हो गया तब तक हमने उसे हटाया नहीं। उस हटाने को भी हटाना नहीं कहते, उसको हमने या तो पोंछने में उपयोग किया, या पोछे में उपयोग किया, या गाड़ी पोंछने में उपयोग किया। दुनिया भर की सारी चीजें करने के बाद जो पूरी तरह से गया, उसके बाद भी उसका कुछ ना कुछ प्रयोग किया, तो हमने उसको जीरो वेस्ट के पूरे सिस्टम का, ये इंडियन सिस्टम में रहा है। अब ये तो धीरे धीरे चेंजेस होने लग गए हो गए, नहीं तो आप जो
मैं
कह रहे हैं, हमारे यहाँ पे हर घर में कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे प्रयोग होते थे जिसमें से वेस्ट कहाँ जाता था, खाद बन जाती है, चीजें हो जाती हैं। ये तो नए सिस्टम के साथ में नई चीजें डेवलप होने लगी हैं।
तो आपकी आज्ञा से मैं शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि हमने एक कंपनी बनाई है ऐसी, पूरे भारत से लोगों ने मिलके, जिसमें कुल्फी बनाई जाती है रबड़ी वाली, जिसका दूध गर्म नहीं किया जाता, उसका पानी बाहर निकाला जाता है और गन्ने के रस को डालते हैं उसमें, मीठे की जगह उसको भी गर्म गर्म नहीं करते, पहले उसका पानी निकालते हैं और पानी को यूज करते हैं हम सर। ये
वाह।
महाराष्ट्र से शुरू हो रहा है।
बहुत बढ़िया। मैं आयोजकों से भी कहूंगा कि आप आपका संपर्क मुझसे भी साझा करें और इनका कुछ अच्छा सा जो आर्टिकल है या कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं वो बाकी लोगों से भी साझा करें। बहुत बढ़िया सर।
धन्यवाद सर।
बहुत
धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद दीपन सर। नेहा भट्ट मैम, आप सवाल पूछना चाहते थे। नेहा भट्ट मैम।
म्यूट है शायद।
यस, हाँ। नमस्ते सर, कोटि
नमस्ते।
कोटि वंदन। आज आपको सुन के बहुत सारी यादें इकट्ठा हो गई। मैं भी एक स्वयं सेविका हूँ, तो इस चीज़ों को अच्छे से समझ सकती हूँ। और हम लोग एक आध्यात्मिक ग्रुप से हैं, तो काफ़ी कनेक्शन लगा आपकी बातों से कि हम ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक ही जो भी सोचते हैं उसी सोच से बाहर निकलना है हमें। और सो आपने जैसे कहा कि मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ या हम क्या कर सकते हैं, तो एज ए बायोएंजाइम रिप्रेजेंटेटिव मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि नदियों का जब बात आती है तो बायोएंजाइम बहुत कुछ कर सकती है, हर घर तक पहुंचाना जरूरी है। सो मैं गुजरात से ही हूँ और नर्मदा नदी के किनारे जनवरी मंथ के एंड में ही एक आध्यात्मिक कार्यक्रम होने जा रहा है। 1,000 से ज्यादा ध्यानी लोग मिलने वाले हैं वहाँ पे। तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि वहाँ पे हम आप सबके सहकार से बायो एंजाइम को माता नर्मदा को अर्पण करें और ये मैसेज पूरे देश तक पहुँचाए कि कैसे बायो एंजाइम काम कर सकता है, जो मतलब प्रकृति को अनुरूप होके हमें जीने की जो बात है ना, वो करने में ये हमें कितना सहायक बन सकता है। ये मैसेज हर घर तक पहुंचे, हर जन जन तक पहुंचे। और इसमें सिर्फ और सिर्फ थॉट प्रोसेस की काम है, हमें हमारे विचारों पे काम करना है, क्योंकि हम सिर्फ हमारे लिए ही सोच रहे हैं, इसीलिए हर हर मतलब ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक बात हो रही है। गवर्नमेंट के कई लॉज है पूरे वर्ल्ड के, अगर लॉज देखे तो वो भी ह्यूमंस को देख के ही बनाए जाते हैं। सारे जीव, सारी प्रकृति जो हम संपूर्ण मतलब ये जो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की जो बात करते हैं, उसमें हर एक छोटे से छोटा जीव भी आ जाता है। वो मैसेज सब तक पहुंचाने के लिए मुझे लगता है कि ये माँ प्रकृति का दिया हुआ वरदान है बायो एंजाइम हमारे लिए, कि हम कैसे करके वापिस जो पूरा एक खेल रच के हमने ये जो पूरी धरती पे जो भी रमखान मचाया हुआ है उसमें से वापस जा सकते हैं, उसके लिए बहुत बड़ा सॉल्यूशन है। तो इसके लिए आप अपना मतलब हमें क्या सहाय करें और हम क्या कर सकते हैं वो आप गाइड कीजिए।
अभी तो मैं ये कहूंगा कि मैं क्या कर सकते हैं वाली स्थिति में आप बहुत कुछ कर ही रहे हैं। मैं से हम में आप 3 4 6 10 लोग जो जुड़ेंगे, जो जो हम कहलाएंगे, उसके साथ अपने स्तर पे अपनी किसी सहायक नदी पे, अपनी किसी छोटी नदी पे, किसी एक स्थान पर इसका एक प्रयोग करें, उसे सबके समक्ष लाएं। क्योंकि जैसा आप प्रयास कर रहे हैं वैसे और भी लोग सोच रहे हैं, और कुछ लोग सिर्फ देखते हैं कि भाई जब तक ये सफल नहीं हो जाता है, जब तक ये पूरी मार नहीं खा लेता, तब तक देखते रहो। तो एक बार उसे देख लेने दीजिए और ये अवश्य सफल होगा, उसे करिए। और उसको करने के बाद फिर मैं से हम की कड़ी जब आगे बढ़ेगी तो सब तक वो अपने आप चली जाएगी। और हमारे काल में हम जितना योगदान कर सकते हैं उतना करें। बाकी आपने आज इतने सारे लोगों के बीच में विषय रखा है, तो अवश्य ही बहुत सारी चीजें इसमें से जुड़ सकती हैं। हम भी इसमें अवश्य प्रयास करेंगे जो भी कर सकते हैं।
सर हम एक्चुअली हम तो बन चुके हैं, विकी बायो एंजाइम काउंसिल, बायो एंजाइम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एकेडमी, ये सब हम हैं जो पूरे देश और इवन देश के बाहर भी काम कर रहे हैं। तो हम नर्मदा नदी के ऊपर मैं मतलब कल ही प्रीति मैम से बात कर चुकी हूँ कि हम लोग नर्मदा नदी में ये शुरुआत कर सकते हैं। तो आपसे जुड़ के हमें खुशी होगी कि इतना बड़ा कार्य जो आप इतने सालों से कर रहे हो उसमें हम भी योगदान दे पाए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये तो अच्छी बात हो।
थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर कार्तिक साफरे फॉर पेशेंट लिसनिंग और सारे सवालों का इतना इतने धैर्य से जवाब देने के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच सर। आई विल कॉल नाउ प्रीति मैम टू गिव द वोट ऑफ थैंक्स टू एवरीवन।
थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू।
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And actually, today's program, ये नदी के जैसे ही बह रहा था। और भावनाओं में, हमारे विचारों में, हमारे whatever we have come across virtually, I think we were just flowing like a river. And it's a beautiful, everybody contributed. And अभी जो महेश जी हमारे साथ जुड़े थे, उन्होंने भी ऐसे ही छोटी सी नदी, कुठारी नदी पे काम किया अकेले। उन्होंने काफी उसको जीवित किया है। गांव गांव जाके उन्होंने, काफी बड़ा उनका भी योगदान है। और हमारे यहाँ पे जितने भी गेस्ट हैं, और ये जो हमारे डॉक्टर कार्तिक हैं, राधिका मुले जी हैं, पवन कुमार जी हैं, it was wonderful having all of you. And I'm sure each link will take bioenzyme to another level, because जैसे मैंने बोला कि ये हर स्क्वायर मीटर में 2 लीटर बायोएंजाइम की ज़रूरत है, उसको रिवाइव करने में, उसको दोबारा जीवित करने में। चाहे वो अंश पानी का हो, चाहे वो मिट्टी का हो, लेकिन उसकी ज़रूरत है। और ये हमसे ही होएगा, मैं से तो नहीं होने वाला। हमारी धरती, अपना भारत ही इतना विशाल है। तो इसमें साथ में सबका जुड़ने के लिए आप सबको, हमारे जो वॉलेंटियर्स हैं, पारुल, यू, नेहा जी, एवरीबडी whoever has come, all the well wishers, thank you all. uh, and it's so peaceful actually to see, all of us have done this, and we are looking forward for another challenging year. Every January we do this beat program. It is not just the talk series. Talk series is a part of beat program. Beat is 31 days we do an awareness for 31 different products, which is actually spreading toxicity in our health and even in the water body or in the environment. So we address those small little change at home. कि अगर 10 लोग भी अगर एक बार शुरू कर देते कि नहीं, मुझे ये फ्लोर क्लीनर को बदलना है अपने घर में, so that itself is a big contribution. So we are addressing all the 31, the basic products at home, what we use. We have a calendar, and every month, every year we do that. And this goes with our, we call it as a bioenzyme month. And BEAT is like bioenzyme at transformation. So it is not just about the home products. We are working at the different applications. So bioenzyme only can bring the transformation if we have to. And thank you all. Thank you all for being here. All the participants, volunteers, हमारे BA is a volunteering run organization. We all work like, crazily for this. And thank you all. Thank you so much, Parul.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we are ending the beautiful session by the pledge by Swati Singh, ma'am. Please, ma'am, go ahead with your pledge.
I pledge to embrace and promote the use of bioenzymes to protect our soil, air, and water. I commit to making and using bioenzyme for organic waste management, reducing chemical pollutants, and fostering sustainable ecosystems. Together, we will safeguard our environment and create a cleaner, healthier world for all. So,
Thank you so much, ma'am. We can see the commitment in you by showing your bioenzyme while taking the pledge. Thank you so much. Looking forward to meet all of you tomorrow for a wonderful session on landfills and how we can solve the problem of landfills through bioenzyme. Thank you so much, each one of you. Let's meet tomorrow.